Welcome, everybody, to Fat Guys on a Little Podcast. I'm your co-host, Steve Markey. As always, joined by
Charles.
I didn't screw up the intro.
Yeah, nice. You nailed 1 of 8.
1 of 8. All right. And also live via satellite from Chicago, Illinois himself.
Via satellite.
The statistician himself.
The
BB.
truck pulled up at BB's house.
Bill, you there still? You didn't fall off the chair into your pit?
He did. He fell off again.
I did not fall.
He fell earlier, Dave. You should have heard it.
And, of course, we have Dave back on the podcast. Great wrestling fan, and he's into wrestling since we little, right, Dave?
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, man.
Back in the 80s.
Now, before we start everything, we need a little alcohol to
Yeah,
deal with all
so
this
apparently
wrestling.
you thought we needed a little...
I searched the world because our friend Eric, the hockey fiend Wigington, found this. Him and his woman drink this. It's a Screwball peanut butter whiskey.
Where did he try it at?
She brought it home one day, and they all tried it. So,
Okay. So she just randomly was like, hey, give me that peanut butter whiskey.
This is supposed to taste like a... Why do I hear a TV? This is supposed to taste like a liquid peanut butter cup. Is it Bill's?
No, it's not mine.
I got it.
So pour out us some drinks on this, Charles.
BB's a fucking pro. How dare you?
He just opens
I'm the
Pepsis
one
right
over here
next
with
to
8
the-
balls in here. I got more windows
my
open.
TV has a mute button, so
Now, you, if you're a comic nerd, Dave, I think you were, weren't you? Didn't you follow something?
Yeah, I dabble in some graphic novels.
There you go. So
He's
you'll
a graphic
appreciate
novel guy. Pass that over
the
to Dave. He's
Deadpool
the guy.
shot
novels,
glasses.
that Pono.
Excellent.
Graphic novel is not porno. It is a collection of comics in a story into a one.
It is if
kind
it's
of a
Japanese.
book.
technically.
Yeah, that's true.
It doesn't smell like peanut butter. I'll be honest.
In full disclosure, my wife loves this. She's had 2 shots of this already. Wiggs has highly
So she
recommended it.
cracked the bottle and was ready to go as soon as you brought it home.
And she's like, make sure you bring it back with you because she wants to drink more. On the website, they do have recipes you can try with this. Salute. So here we go.
That tastes really good. I don't know. That's really good.
That's dangerous because you can drink, you can drink a bottle of that.
Yeah,
thing
what
and
proof is it?
I don't know.
It's strong. It's got some burn.
Yeah, it's 70 proof. It's not that high. It's only 70 proof.
So
That's really good. Wow.
is there sugar in this? It's gotta be.
Definitely sweet.
Is there sugar in it?
How else you
It's
get that?
peanut butter whiskey.
Yes, I don't think I didn't know how much. I just wondering. As a diabetic, I probably shouldn't drink any more
That
of that.
tastes really goddamn good.
Yeah, that is. I mean, you could get pretty slashed on that if you're really into peanut butter. It does taste like a liquid peanut butter cup. I will say. What do you think, Dave?
I think it tastes kind of like a Nutter butter cookie. Definitely.
Oh yeah, that's a good pull.
Sweet peanut butter.
Yeah, it's really tasty. Wow.
Charles, you approve?
Yeah, that's delicious. It's right up there with that vanilla moonshine and all the flavored moonshines we've had on the podcast and stuff like that.
All the liquor
That's
we
tasty.
drink
It
on
says
this
it
podcast, you
contains-
would think we were alcoholics.
Yeah, 1 shot glass at a time. We're the slowest alcoholics on the planet. Contains peanuts right on it. So I don't know.
Take it to Lorna school.
I was going to say, you can't take it to the
Pass
school.
it out to kids.
It's got a whole bunch of stuff on the inside label, but man, that is delicious. You said it was $30 for this bottle?
Yeah, it was. I only found it at a liquor store in Canton.
Wow.
It's hard to find. Nobody has it around here. Party Palace had it, but they sold both bottles. They say it flies off the shelf.
Yeah, it's delicious.
I imagine a lot of women and stuff love it. Hey, put this over there.
That's why me and you really enjoy it.
yeah, no, it's a very girly drink. It's not going to put hair on your balls.
I want to try it.
On your
I want to
chest.
try it mixed with stuff.
Do you?
Yeah.
Like, what would you
Yeah.
mix it with? What do you think?
Something fruity, kind of give peanut butter and jelly kind of thing.
Oh, there you go. Good
peanut
call.
butter and jelly.
Yeah,
Oh,
Dave, the mixologist
yeah.
of the podcast. All right.
So, Bill, if you get a chance, if you see it, Screwball peanut butter whiskey, thumbs up from all of us. You don't like sweet stuff too much, do you, Bill?
Not too much, but I'm staying away from whiskeys and other So unless I was
Diabetes
there
things, or
trying
would
like
you-
a sip of it, I wouldn't buy a bottle of it.
That was delicious. That's worth $30. I don't know. That's tasty stuff.
And also, Bill, while you're in the Chicago area, again, if you see Skullhead Vodka, pick it up for us.
Yeah, Steven
I
says
can't
the
find
Dan
it here
Aykroyd's
again.
vodka.
Yeah, I want to try Dan Aykroyd's crazy-ass vodka. And see what-
Skullhead vodka. Okay, I'll take a look.
It does have a burn. Dave's right. I'm still burning over here. I'm such a lightweight when it comes to
Really still burning?
I don't like. I'm just not into alcohol. I think I'm into peanut butter. I don't know.
Yeah, I mix everything.
Do you?
Yeah, I don't. Really
I thought you were
drink
like
anything strong.
Heather's told me you're like a Scotch snob.
I
and
like
all that kind of-
bourbon, but I like to make cocktails with bourbon, like an old
do
fashioned
you?
or something like
So,
that. Yeah.
like
Just
true
takes that
snobs
burn.
would stab you if that
Exactly.
was the case.
Yeah, that burn I don't love, but I like the flavor a lot.
Now, Dave, before you got here, we were talking about this, and I didn't realize it. Do you own any wrestling shirts, or ever have?
I have one.
I gotta be honest.
wrestling
Hold
shirt.
on, I don't want to cut you off. They don't make them in our. They tap out at a 2, don't they? I mean, can
Well,
you get like a 4 or 5X?
They're starting to get them bigger
You
now.
can get 'em bigger.
Oh, you
Yeah.
can like through
Yeah,
the
look
WWE
around.
shop and
yeah,
stuff.
yeah.
Some of them, it kind of depends.
They
on which
realize
ones
all
they
their
are.
fans are big and fat.
Yeah, exactly. I saw the biggest dude wearing an Alexa Bliss shirt, a little Miss Bliss.
That's kind of good, Steve. Get like a 6X Alexa Bliss shirt. I kind of that's
I'm gonna give you a Bailey shirt at 6X.
dude. Big smiley face on this shit.
So which one do you own?
So they released these ugly Christmas sweaters a couple years back.
Oh, I remember those.
So it's Chris Jericho, and it just says "You just made the list" on it.
Oh, okay.
And it's
Was
really
it
great.
Joey Chris Jericho or was it in
He was,
shape?
in,
Chris
he was in
Jericho?
shape at that point.
He's a
Oh
little bit, yeah.
man, we have comments on that.
So wrestling shirts, there you go. I like Bill and I both had the same ones. I had the Austin 316 back in the day, and then I had a DX 2-word suck it
yeah.
shirt. But that's been it. I never really had any like 80s wrestling tees. I need to find like a Iron Mike Sharp t-shirt. That'd be hilarious.
Yeah, you got to get like a
deep
big
cut
pull.
wrestler,
Yeah. Ken Patera shirt or
Yeah,
something.
Bruno
like that.
San Martino
Yeah,
or something. Bob Backlund shirt.
That
out of
Dean
nowhere.
Malenko shirt.
Anyone got a 5X Bob Backlund shirt? Please send it. So there we go. Now, before we start with the real wrestling, I wanted to ask everyone around here, round table here. By the way, this week the podcast is not going to be normal. We're
Dude,
all
if you're not into pro wrestling, check out now.
Yes.
If you see Steve's notes, you'll be like, there's not talking about anything normal.
I shipped it all out till next week.
Steve
Which
says,
next
"Screw
week
it."
I will talk about the Joker. I will talk about some xCloud, not xCloud, but Microsoft streaming in house. I tried.
Did you
that
try
out.
it?
Yes,
Yeah.
I did.
Did you try the local one or the? I don't want to hijack our pro wrestling.
It was a local
Did you-
one.
Okay,
through
the
my
local
Xbox to my wife's Surface.
Okay.
So I've been trying some streaming out, but we're going to talk about
But
that.
if you're
next
into
week.
that, I don't mean shit this week.
That's right. We're talking about oiled up men with beards and greasiness. That's what we're on.
And if we're talking about AEW, not that fit.
Yes, and we're talking about a wrestling that needs some steroids.
Yeah.
But before we go there, I wanted to ask everyone. There are a lot of reality shit. Now, I'm not talking about on the WWE Network, just on regular TV. We've got Total Divas, Miz and Mrs., Straight Up Steve Austin, and Total Bellas, all on regular cable. Does anyone here watch any of
Can I
those?
pause you for a moment
Sure.
too? What channels are these on?
Okay,
Like,
Total
school
Divas
me
is
up.
E Network.
Okay.
Ms. and Mrs. USA. Straight Up Steve Austin is on USA.
That's the one
after
with the
Raw.
interviewing one.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay, I watched
And
that.
then Total Bellas is on the E Network.
So it's E and USA?
Pretty much,
Okay.
yeah.
Wow.
So is anyone
Is
here
there any? Let
watch
me ask
any of it?
again. I got to keep derailing because I'm kind of the newbie on this. Do they tie in storylines between any, or is it just literally? Is it reality as they pose it, or is there? Like,
I saw one episode of Ms. and Mrs. and it was just kind of just hijinks with him and his wife. It had nothing to do with
so
wrestling.
there would be no. If you're a true wrestling fan, you're not going to pick up any nuggets here.
Now,
I
from
guess
what
is
I
I'm trying
understand,
to
the
say.
Total Divas, it kind of goes behind the scenes following the women.
Okay.
Yeah, that's right.
I don't know. I don't watch it, but so like when John Cena dumped his woman,
Nikki Bella, right?
Yeah, there was a behind the scenes with that and all
Okay.
that. Like, there's regular wrestlers that show up because a lot of them date them.
But you can't get like a good pull of like some inside stuff. Really, doesn't
No,
sound.
no.
Some backstage stuff, but it's so delayed.
Oh,
So,
okay.
So you're-
you know,
So they don't
all
even
they're
try
watching
to
now is a
get
few
you in the
months ago.
same
Right.
area. Okay.
So, Dave, do you watch any of those?
So I've seen episodes of all of them except Total Bellas.
Wow, you're dedicated.
Yeah. Well, I don't watch them regularly, but I have seen them all. So Total Divas seems like I like the stuff that's happening at the wrestling matches backstage, but all the stuff that's like at their houses is totally Kardashian kind of like scripted looking stuff to me.
Okay, so it's like loose premise
Yeah.
setup
Uh-huh.
reality
Yeah.
show.
But
kinda.
at the shows, I think some of that's a little bit more realistic, and that's kind of what's interesting to me.
And they do show some of that backstage stuff.
Yeah. And there's some wrestlers don't sign a release for it, even like
So you're saying there's like blurred face?
it's not really
dudes?
blurred, but like they just keep them out of the way. Like I know Sheamus had a problem with it back in the day, like when it was first on, he didn't want to be on it.
The Bills.
Is he back?
Go ahead, Dave.
But yeah, so I just know that some of the wrestlers didn't really have any interest in being on it in that way.
I don't know. We lost BV out to the internet world.
Bill, you back?
I think so.
Oh, okay.
All right.
We lost Bill for a minute.
BB heard Total Divas and checked out.
It's like I'm done. No Total Divas for me.
Wow.
I've watched Straight Up Steve Austin. I did like the show, but it got old after 3 or 4 episodes.
Yeah, it was very rinse and repeaty, I thought. It was entertaining initially, and then it just got like, okay.
There were only like 4 shows, so
But
Yeah, I think there
4
were
or
6.
5.
I think I already checked out.
It's already over. The season's already. It was a
Oh,
very
that
short-
was it?
Yeah,
It was like
it's a
6
real short
episodes.
season.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
I think they just kind of tested the waters to see if it would get any ratings.
I think that Austin's an entertaining dude. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But like, if you come to it as a wrestling fan, like Dave's describing, there's nothing. You know what
Yeah,
I mean?
it's just-
Like,
he's just
I would
interviewing.
argue that some of those podcast moments that you and BV have touched on in the past are pretty entertaining. You've talked about some really compelling stuff there. I just burped up peanut butter whiskey. Oh my god!
And I always saw Ms. and Mrs. because one of the episodes of Raw had right afterwards, or SmackDown, one of the two had like a preview of the show. And it's literally just a by the numbers reality show. It has nothing to do with wrestling, really.
It's surprisingly funny thoh.
So Bill watches it.
Oh man, he was checked out a while. We just didn't even know he disappeared.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you watched the Ms. and Mrs. show?
Yeah, I watched that, and I watched the Straight Up Steve Austin. I think I've seen maybe 1 episode of Total Divas the entire time it's been on, and I've never seen Total Bellas. But yeah, because I started watching or saw Ms. and Mrs. the first time because when I DVR SmackDown, it runs
Clips in, yeah.
when the shows used to run over, so I run it over a half hour.
Okay.
And so I ended up just catching it and starting watching it, and it's surprisingly funny. One particular thing they chronicled the video game wars. Miz keeps getting his ass kicked by
No.
Xavier Woods.
Yeah. Like Xavier Woods, I told you, he's really good.
He got suckered into betting Maurice's her copy of the Divas Championship belt that she had, and lost it to him in a video game.
It seems staged, but it's still funny.
Well, no, it was.
It sounds like
apparently
a
a
Duck
setup,
Dynasty,
like, he
very
get the
loose
bag,
premise, and
Yeah.
let you roll.
Yeah. So there's a look at now. There's other reality shows on the network, but I don't really watch those. But a lot of the diehards do. But I'm not big on those.
Do you have the network, Dave?
Yeah, I do.
And then BV, you still have the network, correct?
I keep forgetting to cancel the damn thing.
He always says that.
Spent $200 on that.
He's 8 months into
Because
keep forgetting to
I don't
cancel.
watch it for anything other than a pay-per-view. I don't watch anything else.
I gotta tell you, in just watching that SmackDown, they are pushing that pay-per-view. Oh my god! So like
That's what they've always done.
Oh my god! That
Dusty
Hell in a
Rhodes
Cell
goes, "Show
was
me the
right
money."
up front, right up front. I was like, geez.
That's
the
wrestling
kickoff show
101.
right now. I've got it running on the split screen on my computer. So
Oh, well, don't tell us the
Anything
results because we
let
want
you
a
know.
preview later on.
Okay.
All right, so this past week was a very big week for wrestling. We had the Raw season premiere. We had the AEW series premiere. We had NXT. Well, it was just NXT, but it's second or third week on USA. And then we had the Fox SmackDown premiere on
Which they
channel.
brought out, and again, they brought out everyone for
Yeah,
that.
yeah.
thing.
So let's start with Raw. Charles, did you watch Raw?
No, I did not.
Dave, I assume you did.
Oh, yeah, I
right?
did.
And then Bill, I know you
Do you
did.
guys watch it live, or is this a DVR thing?
I watch it live in between Monday Night Raw.
Football and-
yeah.
It kind of depends. I make sure, like if like this week, I wanted to make sure I watched it Monday night, so I was a little delayed. Other times, I like wait till Tuesday and just kind of
When you get some time,
Yeah,
you throw through it.
yeah.
So the show opens up, big fireworks stuff. They have a new song, new video. Let's get everyone's thoughts. Bill, what are your thoughts on the new opening for Raw?
it's kind of pointless. They're all cheesy.
Yeah.
I guess what AEW said they were getting pyro or going to use pyro, so WWE had to go back to pyro again.
Oh, they
seems
got
to be
away from pyro because
Yeah.
they sure as hell had it
Yeah.
on SmackDown. Yeah, it was.
That was all new this week.
Oh, yeah, no,
Whoa,
they had-
why
they
did they
hadn't
get
used
away from it?
pyro
Is
in
it
a
an
long
insurance
time.
thing?
Money too.
Yeah, it gets costly.
Wow,
to shoot
this is
fireworks
the
with.
craziest shit you guys. Like, dude, each one of those fireworks like $15, man. And Roman candles ain't free, man. What are you doing?
And Dave, what did you think of the opening video and
No,
song?
I mean being a music douche, I think as Charles called me last time.
it checks out.
I think the music was terrible.
I agree.
Yeah.
Is it by a band? Because to
Yeah.
your point, I think the SmackDown
Some
was.
alternative
I'm pretty
rock
sure it's
band.
Skillet. If you know
Skillet?
Skillet, check them out. It's like a really bad Nickelback.
Yeah, and they
okay.
can make a pancake.
Are they talking about Raw? Or is it just a generic hard rock
It's
overtone?
like a double whammy there.
It's like the vignette's good. It's just like action of wrestling moving around. Like that's one thing WWE's always been good at.
We'll talk
but the
about
song
that,
is just dog shit. I don't know what
Yeah.
the song is.
The lyrics are always like, "I'm going to rise up and
Yeah.
take my chance." And
It's bad. It's not the one before. It was better than this one, and this one was bad. And then also they have a new entrance now, so a new stage. Not quite
That's
as-
the elaborate screen on screen on screen.
It's
on
this
screen.
giant
Yeah.
screen, and then they come out of it with
I think the-
pyro at the top. I thought the stage looked good. Dave, what'd you think?
I think it's okay. Compared to Friday, I thought Fridays was way cooler.
Yeah,
But,
yeah. Fridays was way more expensive.
They all did. I'll be honest with you.
Yeah.
That production on some of that stuff.
The Raw one did not look as elaborate as the SmackDown.
Yeah, you ain't kidding.
No
They had it on the.
kind of
They
plain.
had video on the posts. I was like, what the hell?
Yeah, it went crazy. So now also with the new season, we got new announcers. Michael Cole no longer on Raw, which I'm fine with. I can't stand him.
So he was. Again, I'm a newbie to this because coming to it late. He was the normal Raw guy. Okay.
Yeah, well, they would stick Michael Cole pretty much everywhere, but they kicked him off Raw and stuck him just on SmackDown. And their new announced team is Jerry Lawler, which is he's gonna die ringside one of these days. he wants to
almost
die. He wants to die at a stadium. I'm pretty sure.
He's got to go out on his back.
And two other guys, Vic Joseph and Dio Maddin, I guess. The one dude sounds just like Cole, so I don't even know who the hell he is.
Are these former wrestlers or any ties?
One's not.
Going around the room. BV, you know of them at all? We lost BV again.
He's gone again.
I think they used to be on the NXT.
Oh, okay.
Oh,
Vic Joseph used to be the NXT announcer.
Yeah, like Superstars or one of the tiny shows.
He sounds
Yeah,
just
it
like
was
Cole.
one of the other shows that he was.
Do you think this was
You
a
know.
worthwhile mix-up for you guys? What do you?
I can't stand Renee Young. She's terrible. I know I shouldn't say it, but she is terrible, and I don't like Cole. So both of them are gone. And Jerry Lawler just chimes in about every 5 minutes. Puppies, and then disappears. So it's just a
I think
Jerry
he's
Lawler.
only gonna be on
It's just a
for
Jerry
some
Lawler
time.
puppet that sits on the side. I don't get the point of Jerry Lawler, but they're okay. But I guess you don't watch it for the announcers, anyways. So the show opens up. Rey Mysterio comes down. And Rey Mysterio at this point is just like Kurt Angle was a year or so ago. He just come down to get beat up or lose. That's all Rey Mysterio does now. And I think he's trying to get his
How
son
old
in
is Rey Mysterio?
He's 78 years old.
BB clack them keys. Rey Mysterio's got to be 60.
Nah, he's probably late 40s if I had to guess. And he's coming down. Before he can even talk, Brock Lesnar comes down. Not sure why. Well, we find out later.
44. Wow.
God, old bastard.
December
Same age as
7th.
me.
He's older than us, but not by much.
Yeah, so Brock Lesnar comes out and just destroys him, which was entertaining.
And they showed that. He
Yeah.
yanked the kid out of the crowd.
yeah, beat up his son and him. Not sure why.
He was going to the family tree beating
Just
up on him.
felt like it. Just decided to beat the hell out of both of them. Any thoughts on this, guys? We didn't.
Was
at
there
this
any
point,
tie-in, or is this completely rando?
random? Brock Lesnar's fighting Kofi Kingston Friday. This was just.
So you guys are watching this. What else? Oh, geez. Okay.
It does pay off later in the week, but at this
Yeah.
point when we're watching,
You
it,
had no
none
clue.
of us were
Yeah,
like.
yeah.
It didn't make much sense. Besides to put him over as a super.
I think they were just trying to make him unstoppable and devastating again.
But they gave him the tiniest dude to beat
Rey
up.
Mysterio and his not wrestler.
He plucked out of the crowd, right? He wasn't
yeah.
even.
Yeah, but I know Mysterio's trying to get his son in it. That's why he keeps doing all this stuff. But
Hey,
so,
Dominic is a lot bigger than Rey Mysterio, though, so at least he was average people size.
yeah, and this went on for about 10, 15 minutes. This is the first.
Not
so-
the beating up,
No, the whole
right?
segment though was pretty long. Yeah.
Yeah, it was
Oh,
long.
okay.
He beat him for a while.
Jesus
him
Christ.
around.
Yeah.
The highlights lasted like 30 seconds. They were already paralyzed.
Lesnar does this thing where he starts walking down the ramp, and then turns
He's always
around.
got to like jump.
well, after he beat them all up, and then he walks down the ramp, and then I'm not done. Comes back and beats him up some more.
I need a little more peace.
Yeah, he's
I
been
need
doing that for a while
Wow,
now.
okay.
So then they follow that up with a terrible women's match: Sasha Banks versus Alexa Bliss. Now, is Alexa Bliss? Is she fully recovered or something? It seems like her matches, she barely does anything. Anyone else notice that?
They've got her in this tag team, in the tag team position, but they keep having her lose to everybody. So I don't know.
Yeah.
Like they don't give her much offense or much strength, and I prefer her to Sasha Banks.
Yeah.
Is she, again, she was out with a legit injury
Yeah.
for a while. What did she have an injury of?
I don't know, spine or something.
Oh, so she was
yeah,
He's had a
really. She was like,
concussion problem.
Concussion.
oh wow.
So in her
Yeah,
matches
she had
now,
a couple concussions.
ever since she come back, she does very little.
So
I
they're
mean,
limited in her.
She doesn't take a lot of bumps. She does. For everyone who don't know, a bump is when you fall. She doesn't take a lot of hits and stuff like that. And all her matches, usually in her tag matches, the other girl wrestles 90% of it, and she barely does anything.
So you guys, as fans, can see that transition where they're protecting her.
They really do. But she's really good on the mic, and I think that's why they like her. Well, Sasha Banks, by the number, she beats the girl. I put on there Bliss was limited in the match. It's pretty much a promotion for her because I believe did Becky Lynch come down? I can't remember.
Maybe.
I think she came down, held the belt up, and then Sasha Banks was and they're blipping, and it goes to commercial.
I gotta be honest with you, Becky Lynch needs some mic skills too.
Oh yeah.
She gets extra foreign. I'm like, I don't know what this chick's saying.
Oh man, still Sasha's the worst. I can't stand Sasha on the mic.
Yeah, I'm not a fan of her.
Really bad.
Yeah, she's a lot of female wrestlers. Oh man, well, you need Ronda Rousey back. This is fun.
She's also a botch artist.
Yeah. She messes
What do you
up.
mean?
I don't think I've ever seen her go through a full match clean.
Her and Nia Jax mess up many moves.
If you search up Sasha and Alexa like stuff too, a lot of times Sasha has just hit Alexa hard.
What do you mean?
On
Like
purpose,
actually hitting
punched her
her?
in the
She didn't
face a
pull
few
up or
times.
nothing
No.
like that?
No,
She's a little stiff.
Yeah.
So after that, they followed up with a tag team title match. Heavy Machinery versus Ziggler and Roode. Roode is the glorious guy. He's got a big mustache. He looks a lot like Rick Rude at this point.
Is it a playoff Rick Rude?
No, it's his real name, I think, in real life. But and Ziggler's kind of like a poor man's Shawn Michaels. Heavy Machinery are these two big dudes. The one guy, he's really big and round, but he's funny as hell. They're kind of like a comedy act at this point. They're a step above the Bushwhackers. Yeah, but I mean, they get title shots all the time, but they always lose.
I was gonna say they're wrestling for belts here.
Yeah, it was a good 15-minute match. It went back and forth. Dave, any thoughts on that match?
No, just that Heavy Machinery is a joke. Like it's hard to take anything. Them having a legitimate chance at anything.
Yeah, they were big in NXT, but apparently here when they went to the main roster, they were like, "Hey, guess what? You got the Bushwhacker role." And they do like funny bits in the backstage lot, but they lose. Ziggler and Roode win. They'll be tag champs for a while until eventually the Viking guys will beat them. So then the next up was Miz TV. Now this is the big thing. They're going to bring out Flair and Hogan. I hated this segment.
Oh, okay.
Flair and Hogan come out, and Flair's trying to do like a real promo on Hogan.
And again, pause for a second. Is Miz TV their equivalent of like Piper's Pit back in the day?
Yeah. It's really one of their only talk segments.
Because he's one of the few people with mic skills that we've established on this show.
So, and the one thing I noticed when Hogan came out, the crowd wasn't that loud. Did anyone else notice that?
Yeah, he didn't get the pop he usually gets.
No, they were like,
It's the first time you've ever seen Hogan not in shape.
But let me ask
Hogan
the
had
question,
saggy
though.
arms.
Do you think he's aging out? That would be my question.
He's old, white, and racist too.
Yeah.
That doesn't help.
That's a big problem.
Okay, Steve showed up with that. Hogan just got shit on.
Well,
I'm just saying, like, at some point, the kids that are into it are not even kids, but like younger generation grew up in an attitude era. So, like, at some point, like us with 80s love is going to kind of age out, no?
Yeah. Well, it's
You don't buy it.
happen.
You think it's just because he's racist as shit.
Yeah,
No,
yeah.
Okay.
He kind of got booed a little bit when he first came back.
Wow,
and,
okay. Wow.
So they're still not over the fact that he's a racist motherfucker, or at least got caught being racist.
Awkward.
But this whole segment, and then Flair went old school heel segment on Hogan, and they babbled on. I couldn't understand what Flair was saying half the time.
He's
So,
strokey.
Yeah,
I mean, what are we
they were
talking
having.
about?
It was a promotion for that Crown Jewel in Saudi Arabia.
And you alluded to this. Yeah, Crown Jewel is that one that you said had nothing to do with their canon.
Yeah,
Now they're trying to give it some kind of like connection, or
not really. They brought these two old guys down. They're going to get a team of 5 each. Each get a
they're going to
captain.
draft a handful of people.
Yeah, and they're going to wrestle, and then Hogan and Flair will be outside of the ring just walking around.
Well, apparently, the Prince of Saudi Arabia really likes the 80s wrestling,
Yeah.
too.
Yeah, he
So
doesn't
pays
realize
a ton
half of them.
money.
He doesn't
Flair
realize
and-
half of them are dead.
Right. Flair and Hogan realize it's a big payday.
Yeah, so they get a lot of money. Like Goldberg got a ton of money when he went over there.
Oh, yeah?
And so does Undertaker. That's why Undertaker keeps going over there. Bill, any thoughts on the Miz TV segment? It's your boy Flair.
Well, yeah. See, okay, I'm obviously
He's
one of the
boy.
biggest probably Flair fans ever, but the dude is 70. He's half dead. Why? I mean, I guess other than the fact that like Dave said here, I mean, the Saudi Arabian prince is stuck in the 80s, but otherwise, I just don't understand why they keep dragging these guys out here to try to get something else out of them. Just have them show up at the Hall of Fame every year, and maybe when you have one of those legend shows, 25th, 30th anniversary, whatever. Have them come out, wave to the crowd, maybe say a couple things real quick, and get them off TV. I mean, there's no value to them at all anymore. They're
It's kind of now.
Like,
here's a
like
question for everyone.
To see him on TV now.
Everyone in the room: who dies first, Lawler or Flair in the ring? Which one dies at the arena? One of them's gonna die at an arena. One of the two. Lawler already
I
tried.
got Lawler on that.
Oh yeah, that's true.
Flair's
You
like
got a death
Rasputin.
match.
You can't kill him.
Yeah. So right after that segment, of course, there was a commercial. Well, also Seth Rollins is the captain of Hogan's team. Who's the captain of Flair's team? Oh, Randy Orton.
Oh, so they're making them have a team and then giving them a captain.
Yes,
with which to-
yeah. Which then Hogan's a captain too. So it's a
Are we gonna go into a tournament thing? Like,
No, it's just gonna be a 10-man tag, and whoever gets.
oh, jeez, this is gonna be complete chaos.
Yeah,
Okay.
pretty much. Right after that, they bring out the Viking Raiders. These guys are pretty good. I like them, but usually, Bill, what kind of matches do they do? Squash matches. They get a lot of squash matches for some reason.
Now
I'm
you
not sure
guys
why.
just said that these are the next big push, is what you're saying?
Yeah, I think
Okay.
so. They're big dudes that can fly around. Like the one dude's like 320
So they're athletic
pounds.
but
Yeah.
big guys. Okay.
Yeah, and they're not. The one dude's out of shape and still doing it, so it's pretty impressive.
okay.
And OC, they're part of the thing with AJ Styles, and I like these guys, but they got Kurt Angle.
OC being what? What do we?
This is Anderson and Gallows, right?
But what does
The
that mean?
original club. So like
Yeah.
the Bullet Club from back in the day. They were the Bullet Club. No Bullet
Okay.
Club.
I know the Bullet Club.
So anyway,
These two are not that
This goes into
we're going into some
the
Japanese wrestling.
independent kind of stuff, like
Wow.
Japan, Japanese wrestling, and other.
These guys could
divisions.
be like a modern DX. You know, they got.
So,
the
but it
cool
sounds
click.
like everyone around the room is pretty okay with are these some of the better up and coming tags in the league?
Yeah, well, OC's been around a while, but they
yeah.
always lose. That's the problem. They
don't
got
give
Bray
them the right-
Wyatt-itis.
Yeah, they don't give them the right kind of storylines to work within because they're good. They're not up and coming. They're older guys and they're established everywhere in the world, but they just don't get the right kind of matches and storylines to I think really take off.
The Viking Raiders will be the next tag champs. It won't be
Well,
the OC.
the thing is, though, is that so it's got to be obvious to everyone that WWE just doesn't care at all about tag team wrestling. They don't care whatsoever. They flip people around. They book it horribly. They don't make anyone strong for longer than maybe a few weeks at a time. 1 minute they're having glorified squash matches, then next thing you know they're losing. Teams will lose 3 weeks in a row. They made OC come and look, Gallows and Anderson look like they were unstoppable again, and now they're just like doing the
job.
week after week job. I don't. It doesn't make any sense. Like
BB's
The
lingo.
best part about this podcast is between me, Dave, and Bill, we're just dropping jobs. People know.
Anyone tuning in to go, what the fuck are these three talking about?
We're such hardcore idiots.
Yeah.
Sorry, too funny. Everyone's like, well, the book, the job, the what?
Fucking carny talk.
So the match is okay, but the Vikings kind of dominated and won. And it was so after that, there's a backstage segment with Cesaro. I forget what they're talking to him about. And Ricochet came over and pretty much called him a bitch.
You put highlight weird pants.
He did.
What is that?
Did you see
I don't
Cesaro?
remember his pants now.
He was
Yeah,
what?
well, it's like he's got these goofy they're like sweat yoga pants that are like.
go
Yeah.
real short. I remember.
And they only
And
come
he
down to
seemed
your
to
calf.
have
Oh, is it like capri
Bottom
pants?
of-
Yes, they
Yeah.
were like men's capris. They were gray and a black belt. It was so weird, and he had nothing else on. It was just so
and for
weird.
as muscular a guy, he's got like the smallest shins and ankles ever.
Oh man, skipping leg day, BB. Is that
Yeah,
what
I'm just saying.
Dude,
They were,
I'm just saying he could,
and their pants were weird, so I put them in a note. They were weird.
weird pants.
Well, then he wrestled in them too.
Yeah, I know. It's like, did you forget your tights? Why are you wearing?
His luggage is lost in check or something.
Yeah, it was weird pants. But Ricochet wins. These two have wrestled each other now on Raw. What, 8 times? I swear they wrestle each other each week. Usually Ricochet wins each time.
And you guys have schooled me on Ricochet before.
Yeah,
he
flips.
can be pretty entertaining.
He is entertaining. He does a lot of flips. He belongs in AEW, but he's in too shape. Too good a
he
shape.
does too much roid.
Now the next thing, and Dave, I wanted to ask you this because Bill and I are getting a little tired of them. The Funhouse segment. What do you think of these Funhouse segments?
I'm a huge fan of the Firefly Funhouse.
So he's the asshole keeping him on here. When you and BB are rolling your eyes, Dave's going, yeah, baby.
I thought it was unique at first, and then they're like a weird tormented Mr. Rogers type deal thing. and he's got weird deformed puppets and stuff, and it's kind of unique. But then they hit you with it every week, and now they're hitting you on SmackDown and Raw with
Is this
him.
the Fiend guy?
Yes.
That was brutal, Dave. You are so wrong. Oh my! I put that in my notes. I was like, "What in the hell is this?"
They've been doing this for like 5 months now. This isn't like they've only been
How do
doing
you
it.
dig that? You,
So I've loved Bray Wyatt ever since.
I like him too.
I didn't know
since
who
his-
that was. Yeah,
his
ooh.
initial days. So like I don't know, like I'm a Pee Wee Herman fan. I like
Speaks to his inner
that. So
Pee-wee.
this whole kind of like
He's digging his Pee-wee.
no, I would love it if they could almost run him like in two different ways as he gets more and more. As we get him more and more, if they could like have him wrestle as a babyface and as a heel, as the Fiend,
that'd
kind
be-
of have
but
like
they're not
this
gonna do that.
split personality. Like
Oh, so
that's
like
the
you don't know
direction
which
I
one
want.
you're gonna get?
Yeah,
is
like
what
I
you're
imagine
saying?
like him coming out and
Because he
tagging
came
with
out
Seth
as like an
Rollins.
ICP clown and beat up a dude, and I'm like, what the hell is this? So that's that dude?
Yeah,
is that
that
what?
dude.
Yeah.
That was bad, Dave. I'm on Team Steve on this
They
one.
have some kind of
Shame on you.
I like Bray
some
Wyatt
kind of
a lot.
professional horror director or something that
Yeah,
does
they
these
need to do
videos.
something with
Oh,
him.
so they're actually tying it to someone or something like that?
Well, no, they actually there's a ton of production value in these. So they have someone that's like
it
really
did not
I guess,
look it. I'll tell you that
well
much.
established in the horror industry that is setting all this stuff up, and it's
Here's a deep dive.
Steve's
The
gonna
guy
pro-
who designed the mask for the Fiend, the clown
Yeah,
mask.
the Juggalos.
Same guy who designed the mask for Slipknot.
Oh, yeah.
ICP.
No, not ICP. Slipknot.
you keep ignoring the
There's
Juggalos.
no ICP. So, anyways, that segment came on, and of course,
That
they
is
went to
bad.
commercial. Now, I thought this was the best match of the night on the show. AJ Styles
Yeah,
versus
that's
Cedric
Steve
Alexander.
BB singing that
But
AJ Styles phrase.
I could care less about Cedric Alexander, but it was a good match. For me, it was the best match of the night. Dave, what are your thoughts on that match?
It didn't really stand out to me a lot, but just because of the whole Cedric Alexander kind of situation, that they're just kind of throwing him,
yeah.
and they gave him one chance 1 week, and then they've been burying him for the past 3 or 4 weeks. But AJ Styles and Cedric Alexander are both great workers, so they all put on like awesome matches all the time.
Charles, when someone gets buried, that means that they no longer get a push. And
I get you.
McMahon,
No,
okay. I know.
It's taking me a second, but I'm with you guys. I'll
We
be
got some
honest with
lingo.
you.
and good worker means that
They're a hard worker,
good
obviously. They're
wrestlers,
doing a
yeah.
lot of yeah.
Now, this match, which I thought was pretty good, was followed by Straight Trash, which was
terrible.
Straight garbage.
then Lacey Evans. I don't know who it is. I don't know if it's Lacey Evans' garbage or Natalia's garbage. But
Someone's spitting hot garbage.
Oh, the match was terrible. The crowd's not into it. Every time Natalia comes
So
out.
you build that momentum and just crash it right back down.
Lacey Evans, she's a strong looking woman. I don't know. It was garbage. Bill, what'd you think of that match?
I barely remember the match. Wasn't
that's
it
how good
something
it
like someone she got disqualified or something and gave her the women's right or something and then beat the crap out of her?
No, Lacey Evans won straight up on a submission.
Did she win?
Yeah.
Okay. I remember her punching her afterwards, but
They said something. One of the commentators, I don't know who it was, said something like, "This should end their feud." So I think it was just kind of like a way to blow off the.
Oh, wow.
Steve's like, stick a fork in it, thank
hopefully it's
God.
done.
Oh, wow.
Now, Bill, if you had to choose, which one would you spank it to, Natalia or Lacey Evans?
Legitimate question.
you know,
Decision's
wait,
decision.
wait, to spank it to? Yeah. You know what? I mean, are we talking about like by watch them in ring? Neither one.
This is
'cause
way too
both-
long.
There's a right answer. I know what it is.
Wrestling attire is just so funky that it's very off-putting. So yeah, I'm gonna have to go with it'd be a spank-free match.
What? You got to pick one, PV. You can't.
If I had to pick one,
go
I probably
Switzerland.
would pick Natalia because she looks more feminine.
Oh,
right.
Well, you were
Lacey
wrong.
Evans is the right answer, Dave.
Yeah,
know.
Lacey Evans is the right answer. Natalia looks like a female Neidhart.
She looks like
That's
them,
her
the
dad.
animal.
Oh, Jesus, then yeah, no.
Lacey
I know
Evans
her.
is a
She's
huge
building a
bitch.
linebacker. No,
She's very
PV.
Amazonian. Lacey Evans is.
Well, that's fine.
That's a large woman.
So the main event was Rollins versus Rusev for the title. I don't know why. Rusev comes back for 10 minutes. He gets a title shot. This match didn't end right because Bobby Lashley came out and was making out with Rusev's wife. So there was that. And then The Fiend, your favorite, came down
so
and jumped
bad. Dave could be
Rollins.
more wrong.
So that was the whole show. There wasn't... For a season premiere, I was expecting some grandeur. And
So you
something
pulled up
great.
how many people watched it? You said
2.2.
2.2 mil.
And out of all the shows, it's got the most viewers. Dave, thoughts on Raw season premiere?
Okay, that season or the closer of the night was horrible.
Yeah, it was terrible.
Like, it was totally overbooked. And, like, I'm supposed to feel bad for Rusev because his wife's making out with Bobby Lashley, but he allegedly fathered Maria's child a couple
like
weeks ago.
in real life.
No,
But like they just abandoned that storyline. Now I'm supposed to feel sorry for Rusev, even though he was banging Maria a couple weeks ago. So I'm like, this is terrible.
Yeah.
There's nothing funnier than when they forget their own plot line.
Yeah,
You know what I'm talking about?
it's your job. How do you forget
And then,
them?
like, you want these, like, rabid fans like you three, like, who watch it week in, week out, and then you're like, wait, well, you just made this one. You know what I mean? Yeah.
Bill, your
I
thoughts
think
on Raw?
Yeah, I think that like this finisher particularly, I think this is supposed to be WWE's way of just burying everybody that's ever spoke out because the Mike and Maria Kanellis, they wanted releases, they didn't get them, and then from what I understand, they signed their contracts, and then like a week later, they announced that she was pregnant. So I mean,
but she really
they've just
is
been
in real
burying the
life.
living shit out of Mike Kanellis for the last couple months.
Well, they buried him
And then
before.
now,
So
Lana, I think Lana and Rusev are at the end of their contracts. And so, hey, let's bring them out. And let's put some, little love triangle thing and have her make out with Bobby Lashley in front of him. If that's not burying Rusev, then it's just put him in some ridiculous love triangle feud before he leaves. Raw was the only thing I would say positive about Raw is that it seemed a little bit more like a regular wrestling show than it has in a long time, which I kind of prefer. But
yeah,
they still need to step it up.
All right, so let's go around the rooms for the people who've seen it. Dave, 1 to 10, what are you giving Raw?
6.
On 1 to 10, I'm agreeing with Dave. I give it a 6.
You give everything a 6.
I do.
People listen to this show.
like-
Steven's the king of the 6.
I'm making a shirt. You get a 6.
Everything gets a
Bill,
fucking
what do you
6.
rate on 1 to 10?
Probably a 5.
Ooh,
It's
he's
probably
a little
more
sour
accurate.
on it.
Probably more accurate, but I'm being nice. 'Cause,
And that you have to give something a 6 on this show.
yeah, I do. It's my requirement. All right, so then we go to Wednesday night. Now, Wednesday night had 2 shows on it. Let me ask around the room first. AEW and NXT, which one did you watch live? Which one did you tape? Dave?
Before you go around, NXT is on what network?
USA.
USA.
AEW's on TNT.
TNT. Okay.
I watched AEW live, but I fell asleep. Well, it wasn't even live. It was a little bit of a delay because my wife said we had to watch Survivor.
I
That's
quit
why I fell
recording
asleep.
Survivor so I could record one of the other shows.
You bounced your
Whoa.
wife's show. You're like,
She was pissed. Come Friday, she's like, where's the Survivor?
It's like check on demand.
I watched AEW live and taped NXT. Bill,
And we're
what
talking.
did you
We're
do?
talking with Gabe the whole time. You said.
Yeah, I
right?
was texting back and forth with Gabe. And Bill, what did you do?
I watched no wrestling Wednesday night. I recorded both and watched them Thursday.
Wow.
Fast
It's a pro move.
It was a pro. I wanted to give AEW them ratings, though. Give them a lot. So the show starts open. Now, before we start, before there were some surprises allegedly online that may or may not happen, and we'll cover if they did happen. Yeah. Jack Swagger was a big rumor to show up on the show. Up until this point, no one signed him or anything. Other one was CM Punk. There were a lot of rumors that CM Punk may show up in AEW.
Because he got his face beaten in MMA. So.
Oh, yeah, because he's terrible at UFC. So,
So he's nowhere right now.
No.
So he's a free agent.
Yeah, allegedly WWE is working something out with him to be on Fox Sport 1. They're going to have a show on Fox Sports 1, some kind of wrestling recap show. Okay. He may host it.
I was going to ask you, is that a big get at this point? What is your guys' opinion?
He's probably the biggest name out there that isn't signed by anyone.
Oh, okay.
All right now.
He's still sticking to be pretty clear that he won't wrestle anymore.
But he is in his 40s. It's not like he's not a young buck
He'll do other
either.
stuff.
Topical.
See what you did there.
So we got a new song comes on, big promo opening. What did everyone think of the opener? I thought it felt very raw-like.
It was very color rush. It had like all these splashes of color and everything.
It felt
I was
like Raw
geez.
1998 to me.
It did have a very WCW vibe to me.
Yes, it did. And Dave, what did you think of the opening intro and video?
Yeah, the video, I remember the color splashes a lot. The song didn't really stick out to me as bad, so I think it was better than Raw.
Yeah, definitely better than Raw song.
No
yeah.
skillet for Dave.
And Bill, what did you think of the opening for AEW? Or did
It
you
was
fast
very
forward?
early 90s.
Yeah.
I don't think that's necessarily a bad thing. I'll be
That's
honest
true.
with you.
So then the announcers are JR, Tony Schiavone, which I put on there. He dyed the shit out of his hair. Me and Dave have 18 times more gray hair than Tony. And Tony Schiavone's at least 10 years older than both of us. And then
He was just fermenting it.
the other guy with the mask, and I think he's supposed to be the heel announcer, Excalibur, but
He's
he's not.
terrible. They just need to pull him.
Yeah.
They really do.
Well,
But they're
take on
sending
that-
Schiavone around. Like,
Yeah.
they're making him into the ring and go
I
here,
thought
go there.
Schiavone did a good job, even though he wanted to say WCW.
Dude, so many times. If I had to hear about how many years since they've been on TNT,
yeah.
one more time, I was ready to jump out a window.
And I don't know. I really feel JR should just be pulled out for pay-per-views or something. I don't think he's all with it. At one point, they showed him. He's got the paper notes in his hand. Why on camera?
He's very Bell palsy right now.
Oh,
too. He's
yeah,
very
he's-
palsy. Yeah,
It's like late Pat Summerall.
it's a little tough to watch.
It's a
admittedly.
little rough.
He's got them headphones turned down behind the hat.
Oh. So, your thoughts, Dave, on the announcers?
Pretty much the same as you guys are saying. Excalibur didn't really. He's just kind of there. Nobody
He's sitting
really
there in a
made their
lucha
big-
match. It's
Yeah,
really odd.
It's weird.
It's super awkward.
Just embrace the heel announcer thing. But
Yeah.
even though we don't know who the hell the heels are, well, we did by the end of the show. And Bill, what were your thoughts on the announcers?
About the same. I think they'd be better served to try to get some new blood in there. Maybe use JR in a slightly lighter capacity.
Yeah, like pay-per-views or something. He doesn't need to be on weekly.
Frankly, Tony Schiavone wasn't particularly good with WCW all those years. I mean, he was. I've never thought very much of him as an announcer, and he's kind of a waste of space.
I didn't think he was that
shit
bad.
on his whole career.
He was a little more harsh than that.
Wow.
I just thought he had a really thick dye job, but geez,
BB just backed the truck over his ass.
he's a waste of space. So I can't recover from that one. So the opening one is Cody versus Sammy Guevara, I think his name is. Cody at this point, I don't know if you've ever played Resident Evil, but there's a character called Wesker. Cody looks just like
He's
him
got
at
that
this point.
weird spiky nose.
Yeah, I mean, and the blonde greased back hair. But he has a hot wife. His wife is very hot.
you always bring it up every time.
That's all Gabe kept texting me. I just keep staring at his wife.
Yeah, but you couldn't see her that much.
Yeah.
And the weird interaction when they got out of the ring was really super cheesy.
Yeah, it was
One
bad.
other thing before you get too far into the Cody Rhodes thing, they branded the shit out of this. TNT logos on everything.
Yeah, it was.
Oh my God.
I'm surprised these wrestlers didn't have TNT on their asses.
Yeah, it was crazy.
So Cody comes out in the opening match for Sammy Guevara. Now this guy is 6 foot tall, pale white. He looks like he's about 15. We lost Bill somehow again. You there, Bill?
I'm still here.
Oh, jeez.
I'm here.
What weird noise keep happening?
Whatever. Technical difficulties.
yeah,
We're a
yeah,
shit show anyway.
Just like AEW, right?
Dude, we need some steroids.
No, but like I said, none of the entrances were great. I don't remember any of the music or any of the videos, so they got to work on their entrances.
So
for
they're
everybody.
center to your guys' point of like how Raw had done with a big video screen. Their center thing is like this weird casino looking thing, and then the screens are off to the side.
Yeah.
So it was kind of hard. So again, I was a newbie watching just so I could talk with you guys about it. It took me a second to kind of see who was kind of coming out. I don't know. It's a bad display, I would argue. I think it needs to be more centered, and then those things on the side.
They got to
or
rework their
something.
whole
I don't
entrance.
know.
All their entrances were off.
Yeah.
The music, you could barely hear it. Now, I will say, there's opening
You know what
match.
you also heard every time was, and you touched on it in the notes just like I did, the time limit thing.
Yeah.
So I couldn't hear who's coming out next.
That's
but
an old
20-minute time limit.
That's
I'm like,
an
okay, we
old
get it.
WCW thing. They were
wow.
big on time limits. TV
Jeez.
time limits, this time limit. They
So
brought
don't
that
announce
over.
who's walking out, but scream at me how long you're going to give them. It's so weird.
And at this point, at the beginning of the show, I'm not sure who's a villain, who's a hero, or heel, or face. Sorry, gotta
Use your terms. You guys are going deep.
Right?
Yeah.
The match was okay. What do you think, Dave, of the match?
I thought it was okay. It was the same kind of thing, though. I was hoping that Cody would be against somebody that I would like recognize and want to be like more.
This is
intrigued
your
by it.
first match
This-
of
yeah.
your first episode, and you brought out like a 15-year-old panda. It was. I was like,
weird.
oh my God! Like,
Yeah.
what is this?
I don't know who that kid
My
was.
kids were excited. They're like, "Oh, it's a panda guy!" Like, all right.
Is he Chinese? He's put a panda.
And one thing, they were stressing wins and losses early on in this show, so that's going to be a big thing with AEW.
Are they going to rank them or something? Or, like, I wonder if that's going to give them plot lines.
Maybe you like, I got a 10-1 record, I deserve a title shot.
Weird.
So I like that because WWE just threw wins and losses out the window.
But one thing I noticed in the SmackDown too is they brought up some stat windows now. I don't remember that in old school wrestling.
Right.
Like when they were bringing them out, they were
doing
stat
it for a
windows
while now.
coming up.
Okay,
I didn't know. Yeah.
So I've heard a lot about this 50-50 booking. Are you familiar with that 50-50 booking term?
No, you got me.
Yeah.
So so AEW, what I've heard is the AEW is going to try to stay away from that 50-50 booking. Whereas like in WWE, if you win one week, you probably will lose the next week, back and forth, keeping everybody kind of even and equal so anybody can go over. I mean, that's not the case for some of the guys like that are constantly buried week after week after week. So I've heard the AEW is not going to be like that as much. It's going to be much more
that'd
like
be better.
So they're going to let people win like week after week, like give them like a 6-week run or something like that? Is that what you're trying to say?
I don't know exactly how it's going to work, but I've heard a lot of the top guys over there just say it's not going to be this 50-50 booking.
And is that a bone of contention by talent to say, hey, look, man, if I'm doing you well, like I need to keep it moving or something?
I think so. Like a lot of the talent argues that they can't really get a good, a good strong run going, and that's why there's no Rock level talent or Steve Austin level talent or whatever. It's just John Cena does it, but nobody else does.
Wow.
Yeah. WWE struggled with that for a while.
Yeah, AEW I think is trying to go more along the line. They are trying to build stars. I think it's WWE switched off at some point a long time, particularly after Cena kind of went away and Rock went away and whatnot. That they try to build their show now as more like you've come to see the show. They don't really want any of the superstars getting bigger than the company. So they're not.
Because then the problem is they lose that
like
person. Is that what the thought is? Like, if you're going to be a publicly owned company,
even Austin held him over the barrel back in the day.
That's
like,
And
I'm
so
not showing up unless you give me more money or I win this match.
That's smart business.
You can if you see people when they've skyrocketed to the type. Like, remember when
fucking Braun Strowman loses every other week?
Yeah, when Rusev got really hot with the whole Rusev Day thing, they made a point to cut that off.
Yep.
Wow. So when they see someone kind of getting too over, they tend to kind of, book them in situations to bring their momentum back down so that they don't get too
big for the britches or too much of the company.
Yeah, and so that's why you'll see like a champion losing a tag match, losing some other match, but then they'll lose 2 or 3 times coming into a pay-per-view, but then they'll retain their title in a pay-per-view match, or you'll see them lose a non-title match on TV, and then. But yeah, they just kind of.
For someone that's been out of it for a while, it's neat to see someone go on a run and then finally lose. Like that's amazing. Like holy shit, could you? Like he was gonna win, he's gonna win. Okay, and then all of a sudden, boom! Oh shit,
like Goldberg.
Yeah, that's kind of
even recently. Asuka. I always screw up her name.
Asuka.
That's so funny. She went undefeated for almost a year and then lost at WrestleMania to Charlotte.
That's a huge, holy, you know what I mean? That's a moment.
That was kind of cool, but they don't do it a lot, so I don't know
why.
But
it makes sense because you don't want that one person to dangle it. Yeah.
And now she's bottom feeder right now.
Right.
So anyways, this first match went on. Cody Rhodes gets the win after about the 15-minute match. The crowd was into it. The crowd was really, the whole crowd was really into it. They were pumped and glad to be there, especially this first match. And then after the match, freshly dyed Tony Schiavone comes to the ring, and they didn't kind of know what they're gonna do. Like he hugs Tony Schiavone, and then all of a sudden
he cried a little bit. I was annoyed with that.
And then Jericho came down, just pissed on Cody Rhodes.
Doughy Jericho,
dead bod Jericho came down and beat the hell out of him for like 10 minutes because they went to commercial break. And he did picture in picture while you watched Jericho beat up a
progressive ad over here in a little window.
Yeah. So that was okay. That happened. So then the next match. Go ahead, Bill.
Oh, I'm sorry. Just really quickly to build on one of the points Dave made about kind of he was hoping that they would have Cody up against someone that was more recognizable. They were into it, but Cody's. I mean, he's the franchise, so to speak. I mean, he's the main guy, even though he doesn't have the title at this point.
He should be. I don't think
and not only do they put him in against a guy who's not really all that well known, he has to beat him with a small package.
Yeah,
and a 20-minute mark too. We were bordering on the time limit.
They'd make Cody, especially since I believe he's supposed to be the next challenger for the title too, right? In the next pay-per-view. You would think that they would make him stronger than someone who had to struggle to beat some guy who shouldn't be on his level.
Another thing that bugs me about AEW, in that match, there were some high-flying flipping moves, and the guys would kick out and get up like right afterwards.
There's no impact.
Yeah, you'd be dead if you did that in real life.
Do you think that I noticed in lots of the matches they kept using the cutter move, which is the RKO. Is that kind of a FU to WWE? Like, we're just going to use one of your major finishing moves all the time?
Yeah,
maybe.
Like a weird inside.
But that's a weird old one to pick. They should, You know what they should make fun of is that stupid ass Superman punch from Roman Reigns.
Yeah, right.
That's the dumbest move
Have
ever.
everyone do that.
Yeah, everyone do Superman punches this week. So then they follow that matchup with Brandon Cutler versus my highlight of the show.
Yes.
I like this guy. He has
I think all
character.
three of us do. Dave, you have an opinion?
Maxwell Jacob Freeman comes down as MJF.
He's got mic skills.
He's always ripping the crowd. He's the ultimate heel. The guy he wrestled, though, was straight garbage. The guy fell off the top rope at one point. He botched a lot of moves, and then they wrapped the match up real quick. MJF pulled out, I think it's an armbar
and I put
thing.
this here, too. Is that a thing? Because I noticed there was a lot of submissions. So the Cutler guy didn't get pinned. He tapped out. I was like, wait, what? That's a thing?
Submission. Ric Flair, the figure four, all that
Oh,
stuff.
come on, dude. That's not been as prevalent as all of a sudden
Bret Hart with the
AEW.
sharpshooter.
Dude, they made it way more prevalent this night.
WCW loved submissions back in the day. They loved the old grimy matches. It took a while. You got to work a body part. Bill loved it.
I tell you this.
I think that I did used to love the old working the body part stuff, but I think they're trying to make people more legitimate by having them do more like traditional, like legit MMA type hold. You see a lot of the arm bars, and they'll just randomly throw in some kind of he's got a guillotine, and it usually doesn't finish the match. But I guess it's the way to try to make them seem like they're more legitimate fighters and
give them impact again. Yeah.
So MJF was definitely the highlight of that match.
I think
Cutler
all of us
guy,
would agree.
Cutler should be cut. He was terrible. I don't know.
I put on here the what is his name? MJF. He had back knee, so I think he's on a steroid. So they're doing good.
In the next couple months, he might get a lot better.
That's what I'm talking about. Juice the hell out of
At
these
this point,
guys.
we haven't seen too many doughy guys. Some borderline.
Dude, we saw Joey Jericho in the first
that's true.
match.
Bob dead Bob Jericho.
Damn, just telling
So then,
you.
right after this match, they do a segment, and I love Kevin Smith, and I love Jay and Silent Bob.
Dude, were you guys cringing like a
This was a bad
cringing.
segment. They should have just showed him. They should have waved and then just moved on.
Because they showed him kind of at ringside. I'm like, there's going to be something with this. This is like an old WWF thing.
Yeah.
Ooh.
It was this bad segment to promote all the tag teams because I guess they're having a big tag team tournament next week with a bunch of
Because again, they had seating in that, which I thought was weird too.
Well, I guess the pay-per-views, some of the ones we didn't watch was for placement in the tournament and stuff like that. So they're having a big tag team tournament. The winner of the tournament is going to be the tag champs.
For $100, what was the name of the black tag team that came down and helped them?
Street Profits. I think I'm right.
I don't know. I was just like,
I might be wrong.
NXT.
That's NXT. I'm wrong.
Dude, it was so awkward and
By
like,
the way, I
what
like
is
the Street Profits.
They
on
couldn't
NXT.
even explain it. Like he came down and handed him
It
a
almost
beer.
looked like security was like, "You're not allowed to be here," and they were like, "No, we're wrestlers. We're supposed to be."
Yeah,
Oh,
it's
you know,
so
it was
weird.
It was a bad segment. The whole thing was bad. And Lucha
Followed
Brothers
up by a second bag segment.
Yeah, well, this was the SCU guy where he's doing his Barack Obama impression.
Oh, that was.
I don't know what that was. And
that
then
was the
they,
best part of the segment, though. He at least kind of had the voice right.
He did have the voice.
yeah, but it was terrible.
But you didn't want to listen to what he was saying.
And again, Tony Schiavone's by the entranceway, and he comes out, and before he can say a word, all the tag teams just come out and start beating him. So Tony Schiavone's on the spot, but never gets to do anything. It makes no sense.
Come up there, Tony. Oh, shit, nothing
The
happened.
Lucha Brothers come down, they get in a fight with SCU, and they get broken up, and it's all promotion for next week. That didn't go over well at all. So next we have, after that, we go to the next match. Now, this Neville in the WWE is now called Pac. He's called the Dirty Bastard or something.
Yeah, the Bastard.
The Bastard.
Bastard Pack, as they kept
Yeah,
saying.
yeah.
Something like Bastard Pac.
Versus DDP's son, Hangman Page.
Did you know he's related to DDP?
I know they love this Hangman Page guy, but he is the most out of shape.
Yeah,
His
dude.
gut was hanging over them
Oh,
shorts.
my God.
Wow, he had JBL body big time.
He's got like a Western motif he's going for.
Yeah, it was a longer match. It was an okay match. Pac hits the guy in the nuts when the ref's not looking and wins the match. Dave, thoughts on that match?
I like Pac a lot. I think this is a better character than they had for him in WWE. So I think that he's one of their better wrestlers, I think. So I'm into him. I don't know. That match itself was okay.
But again, ended in a submission is so weird. I was like,
Bill, what are your thoughts on Hangman Page and his body form? I know I'm body shaming everybody.
I
as
guess
all
I don't
three of
think
us sit here telling me shit.
but we're not
he
wrestlers.
reminds me. I mean, I did mention, before the show that I thought he reminded me a lot of like early JBL, but he has a very 80s sort of wrestling body.
Yeah,
Or
but
like
they all
he's
worked
muscular.
out.
It's not that he's not in shape, but he's certainly not
he's not in shape.
cut.
Like
He's
he
not-
just
he's
drinks
not cut
beer
hard.
the whole time.
He's fine.
He's fine.
The Pac is fine too.
Paxton shape.
And I guess he's 200 pounds and he's muscular, which in AEW makes him like a super heavyweight. Because I'm pretty sure the average weight of the singles wrestlers in the men's division is like 160 pounds.
Yeah, I think it's being generous, to be
It
honest.
was decent. I mean, it wasn't too bad.
Now, following this match, which was okay match, comes the one that I just almost turned the TV off because it insulted my intelligence so goddamn bad. Ryo is a little Asian wrestler. Maybe she's 85 pounds soaking wet. Takes on Nyla Rose, a giant he sheet. It's about 300 pounds.
She looks like a big Samoan chick or something like that.
Oh, yeah, I suppose she's supposed to look Native American. That's
Is that
kind
what
of
it was?
I don't know. Come on, bros.
They also ran this for a while.
This was.
Oh my god!
The
this
internet
match
loved
went
this
on.
match. Most people on the internet loved this match. I hated every minute of this match. The big girl was botching every other damn move she did, and then in the middle of the match, she just pulls out a chair. That makes no sense. Why would you get disqualified?
It made
in the
no
middle of the
sense from
match?
jump because I mean, the one chick's like 250, the other chick's 85 pounds. Like it was crazy.
Bill, what are your thoughts on this one?
Yeah, I'm almost kind of afraid to talk about this because I'm going to sound like the biggest,
Sexist?
non-PC individual in the world.
Well.
No, so the thing is, so she's Nyla Rose is openly transgender, right? Mm-hmm. Which I guess is fine.
She sees
It's not
herself
like,
a man?
No, she was a man.
She was a
is
man.
now a woman.
Are you serious?
Is she though? I mean,
I didn't know that. I'll be honest
has
with you.
Has she actually become a woman?
Well, me and Holly
Or
were
is she
checking out the
just a
crotchal
man?
area when she fell down. It was
looked like
pretty
you could-
flat. There was no tucking going on.
Watch it again.
Oh, he saw
I think
balls.
I
I didn't
saw
see balls.
something.
You saw something?
I feel that I saw something.
I don't know. It's
Didn't
hard to
tape
find
it
out.
up too well. Is what it said.
It's one thing if she was in like somewhere close to the size of the other wrestlers, but if we're going to take on top, I mean, this is you'd won her against people that are like like how China was. I mean, to having a damn near 300-pound transgender who probably for all intents and purposes still has the majority of the male physicality against women, these Asian women wrestlers that they're lucky if they're 100 pounds soaking wet. I mean, it's not even just that it's hard to watch, but how can you ever justify anyone beating her? Yet she loses. Like, I mean,
It was terrible.
I put
hated
just
it.
awful and insulting. It was terrible.
it
I'd
should
be honest
like
with
a
you.
30-second match, and then she should get arrested for like domestic violence or something. This is just,
I didn't know she was transgender.
In the
didn't.
show, they kept trying to say she was like close to
didn't know.
200 pounds, is what they kept saying.
Oh my god.
That girl's everything. She's probably over
her
300.
weight is 169.
No
What'd you
way.
say?
I looked her up on Wikipedia. They bill her at 169 pounds.
No way.
You gotta be kidding me.
Yeah, you know what? And if I was on that show, they'd probably bill me at about 215. So.
So I hated the match. The crowd loved it. People online loved it. Maybe they saw something that the three of us didn't see, or the four of us didn't see. I was terrible. I didn't like it. Big thumbs down. Next comes the main event. Young Bucks and Kenny Omega, which Charles feels should be the face of the
That
franchise.
should be the face. I'm
He's
telling
going to
you.
be their Sting.
Needs to be.
Jericho and his two Mexican tag partners, Santana and Ortiz. I don't know where he dug these guys up from. I've never seen
Oh,
them before.
that's LAX. They're old.
Oh, from WC back in the day?
Yeah, they were. Was it Impact that they were on? I can't remember.
Oh, God.
It might have even still been TNA at the time.
TNA,
or
yeah.
something.
There's an old reset. Well, anyways, The match starts, and about 3 minutes in, Johnny Moxley comes down and just beats the snot out of Kenny Omega, and they take off.
That's all he seems to do is like jump people. It's really weird.
Yeah. Because he's like he's Cactus Jack is all he is.
It's terrible.
He was terrible in WWE. I don't care. I never liked Dean Ambrose, ever. I don't like him here either. So him and they fall. And Charles, why don't you tell us about the VIP area?
Yeah, so he thumps into him, and then they go down like where they park the Zamboni. They put up this fake ass like VIP area with some big lot furniture. And then like he spikes him through this glass table that's randomly in a hallway. I don't understand. What is this?
Yeah, those seats are terrible. They're like below the crowd. So I don't know. Those are VIP.
Those are the worst VIP. What is this?
I want my money back for this VIP.
It's just terrible.
But somehow the match doesn't end on a disqualification. They just keep going. So the Young Bucks take on Jericho and LAX, like he was saying. Listen, the Young Bucks can flip around pretty good, and so can the LAX guys. Jericho can't. But Bod Dad Jericho did. But the Young Bucks do need to work out.
The Young Bucks, you talk about weird pants. They're wearing like 1990s rockers pants or something like that. What is that?
People love these guys. I don't get it. Dave, what are your thoughts on the Young Bucks?
So I haven't seen a lot of the AEW in the past, but I thought they were. I was expecting a lot more from them. I was disappointed too that I didn't really get to see Omega perform more than I did because I've heard great things and I've seen clips that were great things.
He's in good shape.
Yeah.
He's got. I don't watch a ton of this, but he's got to be the face of that.
Yeah. So the match ends when Jericho hits that weird back elbow, terrible main move, the worst main move ever, almost up there with the Superman punch. I don't know which one's worse. And then after that, like 500 bad guys come down. Dustin Rhodes comes down. Cody Rhodes comes down. So a big brouhaha breaks out. Yep. And then the Panda Kid from earlier in the match, the Panda guy shows up.
Sammy Panda
shows up. He starts beating up the good guys. And then out of nowhere, Jack Swagger, who is now named, what is his name? James Hager is his real name, is what he's going to go by. Hager's the guy off of Final Fight, the old Capcom game. They got the mustache. He should stick with Hager. And it's funny, he's standing there and the crowd's chanting "We the People." That was his bit in WWE. So,
so this is I need to pause for a minute. So this is a WWE guy?
Yeah.
They claimed he was a Bellator guy.
Yeah, he left WWE.
He was a Bellator.
He was in WWE for 10 years. Then he did 2 fights. That's the other thing too. A big
Undefeated.
MMA champ. He's had 2 fights. Is all he's had.
Man, I'll be honest. I missed all of it. I didn't know who he was.
He's a big dude. He's probably
no. I get it.
He towers over
looks the
everyone
part.
else that's in AEW.
But
he's their monster right now, which he would have been like an average guy.
So do you guys think going around that was a big get for him?
He's good in the ring. His mic skills aren't great though. He's always had a manager in WWE.
He needs a manager.
He talks strangely. He has a weird voice.
He's got a funny lisp.
Yeah.
He doesn't articulate very well.
No.
Yeah,
big dude though, and being solid. He does good matches.
Good matches.
But
so is that? It sounds like you guys are pretty positive on it though.
On him,
as long as they play it right.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, in WWE they never used him right. They gave him a title for a while, then they put him in mid card, and then he just kind of washed out after a while. So he's not a bad guy. That's how it ends. The big heel faction, which is now Jericho, Santana, Ortiz, Panda Boy, and Jack Hager. I guess a big 5-man heel faction. I guess maybe. I don't know. The Panda guy does not fit in with them.
No.
But okay. And that's how it ends. Charles, final thoughts on the show, what you thought, and
the
are
one
you
thing
going to
that
watch
stuck
it
out
again?
to me was, like you said, the record thing was weird, the time limit thing was weird. The other thing, if you look at, they only had 4 matches out of 2 hours. I was kind of like, not whatever, but like you're lacking in content. Like I was waiting for Luke Perry's kid to come out, he never did, and you know what I mean, like all the random things. And then again, I'm going to keep driving it home. From a layman, Kenny Omega is that company. Yeah. You need to realize that and put him up front.
Oh, yeah.
And then what do? They beat him up in a big lot showroom, and then you never saw him again. So that's my opinion. I don't know.
Dave, your thoughts on the show?
Kind of the same. I wanted to see more of Omega. I wanted to see the Luchasaurus. I've heard a lot about this giant dinosaur-looking dude.
He was in the pay-per-view. He didn't do anything.
Yeah, he's giant. I know he was
the giant luchasaur-looking dude. He had the mask, and Jungle Boy rode his shoulders.
He was from.
You remember that? Jungle Boy is terrible. By the way,
he was in NXT a long time ago, and he's actually one of the ones who brought the bullying lawsuit up, and that's kind of what brought him out of NXT and into
What's
into
a couple
AEW.
minutes? What's the bullying?
So there was a trainer in NXT who is allegedly doing some
Oh yeah, Albert.
improper training techniques.
What, like putting his hand in vages, like gymnastic
Maybe
coaches and stuff?
not that much,
He's
but
doing
a
it
lot
to
of
guys, the
psychological.
Oh,
Or else you will get the shocker.
So that guy got fired from the WWE, but all the people who were like whistleblowers on it don't work for WWE either anymore.
oh.
But he'll be on next week. He's part of the tag team with
Right,
Jungle Boy.
and I want to
so-
see the Lucha Bros too.
And I hate Jungle Boy.
The Lucha Bros are the guys that came out with the mask
Yeah,
and beat up the
yeah.
terrible
Yeah,
Obama bit.
The putas. And Bill, your thoughts on the show overall?
I this whole thing I want to like, but watching the whole thing, I kind of feel like this is where I've gotten officially old, and I feel like the get off my lawn guy, because all the top guys I think are either really just overrated overall, or they're people that just don't wrestle the way I like the whole. I mean, Omega, I've seen a bunch of his stuff from like New Japan and whatnot, and I've seen a few Young Bucks matches, and the way wrestling has moved, it's kind of become like I think they call it Spot Fest wrestling, where basically it's just let's just pull off every crazy flip high risk move we can come up with. I noticed there were a lot of, and I think all the matches except the women's match, where one person would do a pretty big move and the other person would pop right back up and do another giant move to them. And it was almost like back and forth. So
It's like nobody got hurt. They just jumped back up.
5 or 6 major moves that were, kind of going back and forth
Reminds
between
me
them
of
in
a lot
like a
of the lightweight
30-second
division back in the
stretch.
day.
And I'm watching, like, I don't want to just see people. I mean, if I want to say, kind of even with Ricochet, although I think I like him a little bit more than, say, the Young Bucks, and Omega can do both, so I don't want to be too, like, he just happens to be really good at the Spot Fest stuff. But like the Young Bucks, it's just people flipping around. It's like, if I just want to see people doing funky flips over the top rope, or dives out of the ring, I'd go watch a Cirque du Soleil show. I'm still waiting to see if any of these people can actually wrestle. They can't seem to decide whether they want to, they need to find identity too. It's like they 1 second they want to be ECW, another second they want to be old WCW, and the next minute they want to be some kind of a quasi indie promotion, and they have all these little scrawny people that come in, but they can oddly beat everybody that's 200 pounds larger. And I don't know, the production value is kind of weak, and I thought it felt pretty short. I'll give it a little bit more time, but it's going to be on a short leash for me.
It's the same thing for me too. Like, it's one of those things I want to like it so much because I hate the whole McMahon family dynamic, like the real life aspects of it. It seems like WWE is a terrible company, and I want there to be something that can really rival it, but AEW doesn't feel like it's going to be it.
Yeah, I'm not going to go into depth as Bill, but I thought the entrances sucked. I think they all need juice. I thought the commentary was off quite a bit.
They need some Ukrainian trainers in
need-
there with a big
Yes.
battle of Diana Ball
They
and
need-
just start, you Jews,
I
you
mean,
Jews.
they could hire Gabe to train him to
Dude,
work out or something.
telling
Something
you.
needs some working out there. And
You want to see like gladiators.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, that's the whole thing.
I thought when we watched that first pay-per-view in May, there was a buzz about it, and I think it was pretty
I think it lived
entertaining.
up to it.
I just don't think they've ever recaptured it since then. And I thought this first episode would. So on a scale of 1 to 10, this show's a 4 for me. I'm not that great. Dave, what'd you give it?
I would say it was a 5.
And Charles?
I say like a 3.
Charles is out.
I can't do this, guys.
And Bill, what do you give it?
I'm trying. I'll give it a 4.
A 4, yeah. So it's got a lot of improvement. Now the internet says opposite of us. They loved it. Everything was great and rosy, and everything went perfect, and they loved the Nyla Rose.
What was
match.
the number? What was the number?
So 1.4 million.
I thought they'd do better than that.
With all the hype and buzz and advertisement, I thought it would be higher than that. Now, those are early reports. It might have tweaked since then. But
That's the watched live numbers.
yeah, so now NXT was on at the same time. They had only 891,000 people watching, not even a million watched NXT. Now, NXT I never really watched on the network. I caught a couple episodes, but we're going to keep this moving along here. The one thing about NXT, there's no intro. It's just like, this is NXT, and then it goes right into the rest.
There's a Slipknot song playing though,
In the background.
and that's better than Skillet.
Dave can rank every theme song.
And it's a very small arena with the NXT. It's like almost like Clash. It's like really small.
Is it in the same venue all the
Yeah.
time?
Yeah,
every week?
Yeah, it's in the same place. It's like their developmental
Where is it?
league.
Or
Full
Full
Sail.
Sail University.
I think it's
In
Florida.
like Orlando or something
Orlando,
like that? Yeah,
yeah.
because Full Sail's in Orlando.
Yeah, so and the first half hour of this particular show, no commercials. They went no commercials for the first half hour.
This is the big Triple H thing, right?
Yeah.
I mean, this is his like this is our pipeline.
yes.
Come on in. This is our pipeline in, right? Hello.
This has like
look
a
at-
developmental.
It's the panda from AEW.
Sammy Guevara just showed
Yeah,
up.
got a
on it.
panda at AEW.
Yeah, awesome.
So,
Go. Emmy, go.
He's already wrestled better than the guy at AEW.
yeah.
It's all good.
So, but this is their pipeline
Emerson, you gotta
thing
go.
into the WWE. This is the big. So this show is on USA.
Yes, it used to be
Okay.
just strictly on the network.
Yeah.
They put it on USA just to fuck with AEW. Is basically
Okay.
what they did. Opening match is Matt Riddle, who used to be a UFC guy, versus Adam Cole. Now their stick with NXT is long. Just there's no thrills and stuff. Now one thing you will notice, everyone's in shape. Which is already more because I
already
watched
on
this.
the juice,
I already
AEW.
watched this after AEW, and I was like, "Wow, everyone's in shape." on this one.
Congratulations! They know where the gym is.
I don't know who the announcers are. There's a female announcer. She's terrible. I don't know who
Beth,
she is.
it's Beth Phoenix.
That's Beth Phoenix.
Oh, she's terrible. I'm sorry. Everyone else was fine.
So
but
is this your
she's
first
terrible.
foray into this? It sounds like you're. It sounds like
I've
Dave
seen
and BV
a
are
long
into
time ago. I saw 1 or 2 episodes. I just
kind of just not for you.
yeah,
I love the other announcers. Like I love Mauro Ranallo.
yeah. I
and-
do.
And
He's right.
The British guy. They're both really good.
Yeah,
I don't know
they-
why they're not on Monday night.
Yeah,
Wow.
And fire Beth Phoenix immediately. She's terrible.
Leave her behind.
Leave her behind. Take the other 2 dudes. Put them on Raw.
What makes them so compelling to you and BV? It sounds.
So Mauro was on SmackDown, and he was great on SmackDown too. He had some anxiety issues, I think, is what I read a long time ago. So he took a
Wow.
long break, and he was back there. So I think he's more comfortable. He just has good, compelling. Like we were saying that guy, the other guy just sounds like Michael Cole, and I think Michael Cole kind of has a shitty personality, and you don't really like him or whatever. And Mauro seems like a genuinely kind of cool guy who likes what he's watching, gets into it emotionally, and the English guy just has a cool English accent. And
okay.
They were
knows what he's
definitely out
talking
of the
about.
4 shows. They were the best 2
Yeah.
announcers.
Wow.
The female was terrible. I don't know.
So you're saying that these guys should be their primetime WWE
I
guys?
love
But
those, yeah.
apparently, he gets inside. He can't do
He'll
it.
shit his pants.
You know what Morrow does too that you don't see anymore, and this is kind of like when we talk about JR and how things fall or how far he's fallen with age and issues or whatever, health issues. But JR used to be the master at getting really emotional into a match, and he'd sort
Yeah.
of
This guy
he
does it.
would give you like a narrative that would tell the story as it was almost like having like a verbal closed caption kind of thing. He would get guys over just by the way he'd announce a match. Morrow is like the closest thing to that I've seen in a long time. He gets his emotionally, it's high points. He gets emotional with it. He gets very, and he does it in a way that sort of highlights the wrestlers and kind of helps put them over while they're in the ring. And yeah, I mean,
Hands down, the best announcers.
That's crazy. Well,
Agreed.
all you guys agree on it. Wow.
Matt Riddle, Adam Cole. The one thing I don't know, I've not really watched much of them. I'm familiar with Matt Riddle because of the UFC ties. Adam Cole has a very CM Punk vibe to him. I don't know who this guy is. It's like CM Punk's brother. I don't know, without tattoos. Is what he reminds me of a lot.
So is all these mostly like really young guys? Is that what you classify?
Adam Cole's not as young. He's had a longer indie career before this. Matt Riddle's young.
Yeah, Matt Riddle is, but the other guy. Adam Cole wins a pinfall with a running kick to the back of the head is his main move. It looked kind of lame. I was like, no, 20-minute match for that.
Can you tell they're working on things? Is that kind of the vibe? I guess.
No, they feel like they're seasoned guys.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, they only put the best of the best are on the show. There was a reality show on the network that kind of was about NXT.
Okay.
So it showed there's tons of wrestlers that are just there training and everything, and then they it's almost like getting to the show.
Okay.
Working as hard as they can.
That's got to be pretty cool to watch. Actually, that sounds interesting for someone who.
Yeah. And Adam Cole's part of some clique. I don't know what his name of his group is. He's got 3 other dudes to help him out, kind of like a DX type deal. And then at the end of his match, guess who comes down? Finn Balor. Finn Balor has been in the regular league for a while.
I've heard the name.
So this is kind of a demotion for him, really.
I think you're going to see a lot of that with guys that you're going to because they need to beef up the name recognition. So you're going to see, I think you're going to see a handful of kind of mid to upper level card guys.
Get shifted down to it.
If you go back and watch NXT and watch Finn Balor's run as the champion at NXT, it's better than anything he's done. In WWE, like he was just dominant for
so he's
for a
peaked
while.
there. So it's an easy transition to push him back that way.
Yeah.
So right after that, they do a Velveteen Dream promo. This guy's kind of funny. Got a lot of chicks. He's really good on the mic. Yeah. All their black wrestlers are really funny, really good, and I like. That sounds racist as fuck, but you'll see later on why.
Jesus Christ!
I like them too.
You're not gonna get a job on SNL with thoughts like this. What are you up to?
It was actually a compliment. They shined better. Than
Stop doubling down. It's getting awkward.
So then there was a female match.
I had this dream, this awful Negro.
Io Shirai versus Maya Yim women's match.
Was Riho coming out anytime soon?
This was another long match, no real commercials. She wins on a moonsault victory for the pin. I don't know much about either one of them. Dave, do you know a lot about them?
So I know Mia Yim's been around for a long time. There's a show on the network that does that wrestlers documentary show,
Vice.
Viceland.
Yeah, Viceland. Yeah,
they did a big episode on women's wrestling, and she was one of the focuses. So I know a lot about her, and then she showed up on NXT, so she's okay. I think this Io Shirai though is really good. Like she's a good wrestler. I don't know how she doesn't seem to talk much. I think she's
entertaining to watch.
Accent.
Yeah.
There was a huge difference between WWE's overall women's talent, even NXT's women talent versus AEW's. I mean, it's AEW is not even in the same stratosphere in talent with women that the WWE is.
He's throwing a flag.
And then their one woman's barely a woman. So and then they show Hall and Nash are in the audience. I don't know. They look like 110 years old.
They don't know. They didn't know where they were.
Well. They were drunk. They didn't know where they were. So the next guy comes up. His name's Johnny Wrestling. I think he had a different name at one point.
Johnny Gargano was his real name, but they call him Johnny Wrestling.
He's a tiny dude. He's 5'6". I don't know.
He's got no love for the tiny dude.
He looked like an AEW guy, but he was in shape. Shane versus Shane Thorne. Again, Johnny Wrestling wins with a kick to the... A lot of kicks in this league.
Oh, okay.
So, and these are all 20-minute long back-and-forth matches. These aren't quick, fast matches like on Raw or anything like that. A decent match. The Midgie wins. I don't know. What did you think of that match, Bill? Did you see it?
I did. I think. I mean, I never watched NXT until they came to USA a couple weeks ago. So, I heard. I think didn't Gargano have the title either right before or during when they made that big rush of? I remember that they brought a whole bunch of NXT guys up to the. At the same time that Ricochet came up to the main roster, and who was that other guy? Aleister Black and all that. Yeah. I don't. I mean, he seems like he's a good wrestler, but he's just really, really small.
He's tiny, dude.
He was a tag team with the other guy who came out at the very end.
Is that Ciampa?
Yeah. So Ciampa and Johnny Gargano were a great tag team. Then they had a big feud. A really good NXT feud.
This guy looks like Rasputin from Russia or something. This Ciampa. I actually forgot to put him on there. I don't think I put him on there. So then they go to the women's title match, and this one chick is scary looking. Shayna Baszler.
She's a UFC girl.
I don't know the name.
Did you watch the what's the UFC like fighting for a contract show?
Oh, the one for the Contender Series, the Dana White stuff?
The Ultimate Fighter.
Oh, the Ultimate Fighter is the one that's on.
Yeah. So, did you watch the Misha Tate Ronda Rousey series?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
She was on one of those. She was on that season. Shayna Baszler.
Sure.
She's a creepy looking woman.
Yeah, she's a scary looking chick.
She like extra Brazilian or something like that.
No.
She's got like really black eyeliner.
She'll beat the shit out of you.
Yeah,
okay.
Looks like she just chews all the time.
She got a lip in while she's wrestling.
It's like she's like smoking, drinking whiskey, and playing cards.
Oh man,
she's a rough looking woman, but her wrestling style is very submission.
I was gonna say, it says rear naked choke.
Yeah,
there,
she was very UFC based. She won, dominated pretty much. The other girl had a couple things, but and then here's the one that belonged in AEW: Pete Dunne versus Danny Burch. These guys were not. These English guys don't give a shit about working out or dental work.
Yeah. Wow.
So the Dunne guy wins on a weird pump handle slam. They call it the bitter end. The Dunne guy's got another movie, doesn't he, where he smashes fingers or something?
Yeah, he like bends people's fingers back and steps on fingers.
Very Steven Regal-ish kind of guy.
It was different.
It was different,
Yeah,
but he needs some juice.
He's short. He's just a small guy. Yeah.
He looks like out of shape Taz.
Taz is really small.
Now these guys I like, these Street Profits. They show up on Raw every once in a while. They're like a really fun Harlem Heat, but actually have a personality more than Harlem Heat did.
Okay.
Versus the Undisputed Era. This is a tag team championship match. Pretty good tag team match. It was a 20-minute match, probably back and forth. The Undisputed guys won. Right?
Yep.
They won.
And that's the group you were talking about earlier that Cole's part of.
Yeah.
That's the faction, the Undisputed Era. The
Yeah.
tag team Cole
That's
and the
like
guy
their
that has
horseman.
the North American champion.
Yeah, I can't remember what his name
The
is.
Street Profits will probably be on
okay.
Raw before long. They're entertaining. They're funny.
You can see them moving up pretty
Yeah.
quick.
They're gonna move up
And they've been doing little vignettes on Raw for months.
Yeah.
Just a little commentary about the show.
It's a matter of time. They're okay wrestlers. They're not the greatest wrestlers in the world, but sometimes you don't have to be. Just be entertaining. And then that, like Dave was saying, that weird Rasputin dude came out with the beard. I mean, he's got this giant beard and a bald head. He looks like a mission. He's a Russian of some sort, Zangief's son or something. He looks kind of old.
Ivan Koloff.
Yeah, he's very Russian-y. He got a Russian vibe, but he's not Russian.
He was supposed to be in that big call-up that BV was talking about. But
he got hurt.
he got really hurt.
He had like a major injury and was out for months.
Yep.
So my notes on the show, it was much more smaller, much more ECW kind of vibe for the crowd. The female announcer down that I know is Beth Phoenix was straight garbage. Other two guys are great. Maybe that's what makes her sound so bad. Is those two guys are so good.
I think that might be part
She's
of it.
just that bad.
Wow.
She's married to the Edge, though, so they're never going to get her.
It's an old school wrestling fans kind of show. It's not a lot of bullshit. It's long matches, a lot of submission working. There's no pomp and circumstance here. It's just here it is.
Pure wrestling. Yeah.
Pure wrestling. That's my take on it. And Dave, what are your thoughts on the show?
Well, I've watched NXT for a couple years now, not as regularly as I have been now that it's on USA, just because I don't have to log into my PlayStation or whatever. But I think I like NXT a lot. I like that they give people chances and they run things a lot more. So I thought the show was really good. I would give it probably a 7.
Wow.
But I like NXT a lot.
Wow.
And Bill, your thoughts on NXT?
I dug it. Like you said, it's an old school wrestling fan show.
Bill's out.
I just, you know what, I wish I had
Feel it.
I was watching like this. Bill loves it.
I was sitting there watching it like, damn, I wish I would have realized it was like this, because I actually would have had some more use for the network. I would have been watching it on the network if I knew it was going to be like this.
Oh, wow.
So
I thought this was pretty awesome. I mean,
1 to 10, Bill. What are you giving it?
I'm going to give it like an 8.5.
Wow. That's big praise in this room because you guys are,
I'll give it about a 7. I'm gonna knock it off because the female wrestler or female announcer, she was fucking garbage.
Let me ask you guys: do you think is this the AAA influence it gives? Is that what is your guys' opinion? Why
The insurance company or Triple H?
Well, Triple H. Triple H. Oh, what am I saying? Is it Triple H though that gives it this kind of
He's pretty hands on with it. Yeah.
I think that's a lot of it.
His Instagram is all like the NXT
And Steven
stuff.
Regal has a big part of it,
he's a
right?
big part of it,
It's
too.
Regal and him are pretty much running it.
And
And
you
then a
guys
lot
think
of the
that
old,
they're doing it?
a lot of the old guys like Shawn Michaels and that spend a lot of time behind the scenes on that show. Too. They
There's
say
a
they
big
like
because even when Terry was here, he's way into like teaching the youth and all this kind of. There's a big like love of that from any kind of wrestler. You know what I mean? It's crazy.
Yeah. The thing they always say in a lot of interviews is a lot of the old guys like going there because it's got an energy to it. It makes them feel young again being down there. A lot of them say that. Because it's a bunch of wrestlers that aren't beaten down and by the system already.
Doing coke in the bathroom.
Yeah, they all have hope still, and they're not popping painkillers every 5 minutes.
Knees are going sideways.
Yeah. So a lot of the older wrestlers like being around there. All right, so
They
now
can actually refer to themselves as wrestlers without pissing off Vince McMahon too.
yeah, and McMahon's a little hands off on it, so that's why.
This
I hope it stays that way.
it's a wrestler
You guys
show.
are really
It's-
positive on it. It's crazy.
Yeah, it
Well,
is.
because
It's
they
not
let
bad.
it be a wrestling show.
And everyone was in shape except for Pete Dunne.
Yeah, they don't have to turn this into some big, extravaganza of it's a big variety show. With,
yeah, there was no
people come
celebrities.
down, they run stories, they wrestle, the matches are good.
Wow.
So let's talk about that pay-per-view that happened Friday, because it was essentially a pay-per-view. I mean, WWE, they went all out. I didn't get the ratings. Bill, did you find any ratings on SmackDown from Friday on Fox?
They did just under 3.9 million.
Wow, they doubled
crazy,
they doubled Raw almost.
Wow.
So 3.9 million watched Fox.
Jeez.
They had a half-hour kickoff show. I
Yeah,
turned it
there's
on
a
by
blue
accident.
carpet. I saw
Yeah.
see that.
TiVo picked it
Yeah,
up.
well, I was watching TMZ. Yeah, I was like, let me just turn Fox on and leave it. And then that came on. Now, one thing I will say, I knock it, they brought that garbage reporter, Erin Andrews, with them.
She did not fit.
Yeah,
She interviewed
it was really
New Day.
awkward. Yeah,
She interviewed New Day, had no idea who they were or
She
what they were
also looked
doing.
so skinny.
Oh, I
Golly.
hate that woman. Who did she have pictures of that she keeps getting
No,
jobs
it's
everywhere?
pictures of her.
Oh,
I was
yeah.
gonna say, man.
Jesus
As a
Christ.
hotel employee, you
How
know the
does
Erin
she
Andrews
keep getting a
story.
job? It's so terrible.
He's so annoying.
My wife hates her too when she's on Dancing with the Stars. She's like, "Who is this woman?" That's Erin Andrews. Now you're stuck with her.
Enjoy her.
Yeah, I know. So she was a big part of that. And it was just promotion the whole first half hour. Then it opens up with a new song from AC/DC, right? Am I correct? Music douche.
Now, you talked about into the graphics here. They had every wrestler in that graphics package. I thought that there was a line on who was a Raw person, who was a
There
SmackDown.
is, but for that first episode, they're going to tell you everyone's here. Come watch.
Because it was. I was like, what the hell?
Yeah.
Okay, wow.
Yeah, I imagine that video is going to change.
draft
You
is
think
next
so?
week.
Okay.
The draft is coming up.
Yeah, they're going to draft people to certain. Now, the announced team on this one, because we've been going over it, is Michael Cole and Corey Graves. Now, the one thing, Corey Graves is a little annoying, but the one thing he does right, he's the heel announcer and he knows it.
Yes.
So I give him credit on that.
Okay.
He's good. Where Excalibur can't figure out that he's the heel announcer. Corey Graves knows he is.
Okay.
And then, of course, you know Michael Cole. He's been around forever. And
It
so-
seemed like you guys, when you initially put the notes up, were confused of what happened to Michael Cole. Were you shocked to see him land at SmackDown, or you knew that was happening?
Not once he
no,
was
you knew
off
that was
Raw,
coming.
I kind of knew he was going to
okay.
SmackDown. So, but they've been bouncing him back and forth all over the place recently. So now they're just like, stay on SmackDown.
Are you
Were you
okay
surprised
with that?
it was just a two-man booth?
I was surprised a little bit it was a two-man booth, but I like two-man better than fucking the third idiot that just rambles on, or Jerry Lawler screaming a catchphrase every couple minutes. Puppies! It's like, what the hell? So, the stage, the song, the video, the whole look of it, what did you think, Dave?
I liked everything about the opening for the show. I thought the song was good. I thought the stage looks cool. The pyrotechnics. I thought everything was really cool.
And Bill, your thoughts?
I thought the display in the arena, all that was really good. I didn't care for the opening and the music and whatnot. I kind of wish they would just stick to what they were doing before instead of having this pre-packaged open with a theme song. Just go right into the live show and.
Yeah.
But I mean, they obviously put a lot into it, so I can see why people did like it.
Yeah, that looked like pay-per-view level stage.
Dude, that was crazy.
And Charles, your thoughts on the
the
opener?
video, like they had layered video. Like when The Rock came out, like his logo went to like 8 different screens. It was crazy.
Yeah.
And again, they were on the posts. I was like, they got screens on the posts.
Now, the one thing I will say, it starts with a pre-taped 5-minute segment with Austin talking about, right? Isn't that how it started?
I didn't catch
didn't
that.
see that.
Yeah,
right
that
when the
might have
half
been
hour,
from the-
when the kickoff show went off, he came on before the intro.
My DVR didn't. Get
Yeah,
that.
I caught the regular show.
That's
I
the only time he's on it. He's not on it the rest of the show,
Oh,
right? You guys didn't
He
see
wasn't
Austin.
on. No.
Now he comes on, talks about the next generation,
Yeah.
SmackDown, blah blah blah. Okay. So if you DVR'd it, you didn't see
Yeah, I
Austin.
missed that.
Yeah,
I didn't
Which-
see the kickoff. So
Yeah, so
it
where-
started with
where-
Vince and Stephanie.
They
That's
promoted
when mine
they
started,
promoted
yeah.
the crap out of Austin Rock and all them. Austin was only, I think he was at the end of the kickoff show. Comes
Yeah,
on with
I
the
didn't see
video.
him. I was surprised that I didn't see him. So
Yeah.
that
So it
explains.
went right into the intro, right when his video stopped. And the video. So little bummer there. There was no Austin sighting except for that video. But whatever. And then right after the intro comes out Vince and Stephanie McMahon.
What is Stephanie? Let me pause you for a 2nd
Mm-hmm.
What is Stephanie McMahon's role? Brand something or other? They
She's
call
the chief
her.
brand officer, I think. is what
Yeah,
it
I was
is.
like, what is that? Like, okay.
Who knows?
I don't know, just something. I don't know.
I know Triple H is what chief operating.
Yeah.
He's the COO of the company.
Yeah, and but I have no idea what Stephanie McMahon does.
Yeah, that's a legitimate corporate office.
She
Yeah,
just
you can tell they all got like labels and stuff. This is crazy.
now. So then the first segment, Becky Lynch comes out, and I'm like, oh Christ, I'm gonna have to listen to
I
Becky
didn't
Lynch.
understand a word that broad was saying.
Yeah,
I don't know what she was talking about. She's so accented. I'm like, I
The
don't
chick
know.
from Brave comes out.
Oh my God, guys! You guys listen to her a lot. I was sitting there like I had to put on closed captions. I'm like, I don't.
But then the true star comes out, The Rock.
Holy shit!
And this is now go back to Monday when Hogan came out, and everyone was like, "Oh yeah, old white racist." Rock comes out, this place with bananas.
David Duke came out. No one gave a shit.
Yeah, no, Rock
Dude,
still
that
has
Rock
it.
shit is crazy.
They went ape shit over him when he came out.
And you talk about a dude that is jacked for days, son.
Yeah, no.
The Rock is still
You
in
think
hella
he just
shape.
wakes up sweating?
Dude, I don't know.
It's like-
I don't want to find out. Holy shit.
Yeah, he doesn't fit in with AEW.
Dude. Oh my
He's
God.
way too big for them, physically and
Everything.
yeah.
Yeah.
So he comes down, and then what they've been doing when Rock comes back is they always send some heel jump.
Look at his ass. Yeah.
It was Rusev one year, and this year it was Corbin.
yeah.
Go down. He just won King of the Ring. And pretty much it was a segment with Rock and Becky ripping on Corbin for about 10 minutes. And after they got
He
done
was
ripping
playing
on him,
up to her a lot.
Yeah,
I
they
know.
wanted to put her over.
There's definitely we need to get her going.
give her some.
oh, the man.
What do they call
the
that?
man.
Give her some rub or whatever.
right.
Yeah.
Give her the rub, yeah.
Yeah.
Give her the
He
rub.
was rubbing the shit out of her. I'm going to tell you that right now.
Yeah, she got a lot more in than I thought she would.
Oh, my God.
And then, of course, by the numbers, he beat the shit out of Corbin with her.
I got to tell you, from someone who hasn't watched it, that was fantastic. Someone who
enjoyed
loved
that?
the Attitude Era. Oh, my God, dude. You just needed that. He seemed to honestly be enjoying the shit out of everything he was doing.
Oh,
like,
yeah.
you just were into what he was doing.
It's weird when a wrestler looks like he's enjoying himself.
Yeah. As opposed to having back pain.
Yeah, or just like, I got to do this stupid storyline.
Yeah,
I hate
dude,
it.
it was fantastic.
So, anyone didn't like that segment?
I bet the 47-man writing team didn't hand him a script and tell him to go out there and read it.
Yeah, he threw that shit out the
they
window.
needed to submit that to corporate.
All they
wait
had
for
told him
approval.
He's like, I'm going to do what I want to do, and you're just going to...
All they told him was help Becky a little bit. That's all they
Dude,
told
oh
him.
my God.
And he did it perfectly. And by the numbers, anyone not like that segment? I mean, that was a great segment. Right?
Yeah, that was great.
I mean, what
That was
do you
probably the best segment of the week, right?
Yeah, I mean, really.
You didn't like that segment, you don't like wrestling.
And all I gotta say, when the camera showed him from behind, his back, the width from shoulder to shoulder, this guy, that's the most V-shaped dude I've ever seen. So that was a great segment, great way to kick it off. Crowd's going bananas over it. And then let's bring it to a screeching halt by bringing the females out to wrestle.
Dude. You guys always sing to me the praises of the Charlotte Flair to me. You guys always do it. I'm sure Dave will be the same way. I gotta tell you,
She
first
can
of
put on
all,
a good match, but-
she's got big fake cans and she's flat as a board everywhere else. She's got, I don't get it. Her moves, like the chick stuff, it's kind of what BV touched on with the AEW and like the impact of it. The chicks just kind of do move and to move and to move and to move and to move,
Yeah.
and no one sells anything. And I'm like, what is happening? She won on some weird back bridge thing that
It's a figure four that she bridges, and they call it the figure eight.
it's called the figure stupid. That was dumb as hell. Like, what is this?
That put extra torque on the figure four.
That would make it hurt so much worse, Charles.
Damn, she's just bridging it. Just,
But those are your top four girls in wrestling.
Yeah.
ooh.
Those are your top four. Charlotte's better with a one-on-one match than a tag match. I'll tell you that much. I'll still stand by her and AJ Styles, even though every time you see them, they suck.
Well, I brought up the AJ Styles thing. He's at the ringside. Like they. Okay.
Yeah. So the match was okay. Whatever. Becky gets
There was a
Becky and
big.
Charlotte win with a submission on Bayley.
It was all the big push towards their Hell in the Cell stuff.
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
that's what it
And
was
you'll
all
notice throughout the night that's all they were doing is, hey, watch that pay-per-view. Now, the next one was kind of weird because Rollins is a Raw guy and Nakamura, I'm still
about.
waiting.
This Nakamura guy's terrible.
I know. Bill saw
He's-
one good match with this guy. I've never seen a
Another
good match.
one
with-
you guys
Well,
sell
Dave,
to me.
have you seen a good match with Nakamura?
I mean,
yeah, 18. He
don't-
saw one 19 years ago.
probably a long time ago.
like
yeah.
New Japan Wrestling in 2000.
I don't get it. And like on cue, now I can. I might not have wrote it down. Was there a Funhouse before?
Yes, there was, because I put it in my
Yes.
notes. I
Oh,
was like,
sorry, I
that's
missed
where the
that.
Funhouse skit.
The Funhouse skit came on before this match, so that was like
It
foreshadowing.
also lasts a long time.
Now this
that
is the
skit.
second Funhouse skit of the week.
So
there was
you already
one
caught
of
the one on Monday that I didn't see.
Yeah, and
into
now
this one.
Yeah.
Dude, it's so long.
Well, don't blame me. Dave likes it.
I like
God damn it, Dave. Wow.
So yeah, that happened, and then Rollins and Nakamura. It wasn't a very long match before the Fiend attacked Rollins. I mean, who didn't see this coming?
Yeah, it had to happen.
They got to promote that pay per view. It was an okay match.
Really quickly, like, because there are some, the stuff that they're doing with Wyatt is getting a little repetitive. Like, I'd like to see him do more actual matches and not have everything be this show. Could they give him a better move than the damn mandible claw?
Yeah,
He's
Well,
doing like an
really-
old school Nick Foley thing?
Yeah.
yeah, and Kevin Owens is doing the stunner. So
I mean, really?
Wow.
That's all they
Yeah.
could come up with?
I guess the figure eight doesn't look so bad now, does it?
At least he tweaked it
Can't he
some.
just give him the Sister Abigail and be done with it?
Right.
Well, I think they did that so he can do it to big guys. He probably struggled doing Sister Abigail to like Braun Strowman and Kane. Remember, he jumped Kane and Braun Strowman. So with the claw,
he comes
could
up
do
later.
this.
That dude's still a monster. Jesus.
Yeah, he is. Yeah, he's a modern day Big Show. But we'll get to that in a minute. So before that, that match happened. I think it was a DQ match because the Fiend attacked. So nothing really come of that match. Whatever. Now Shane McMahon versus Kevin Owens. Now this had
This
a
was the
build
match
up.
of the night.
Yeah, it was a decent match.
don't know if you guys had an opinion.
and it had a long story build up to it. Like
The
these two
one
have
had to
been feuding
retire,
for-
right?
Yeah,
Because he was pissed about
and
something.
this has been going on for months, so
Yeah.
it's not like a one-off type thing. Good match. Owens is a little pot-bellied guy, but he puts on good matches.
It was good. It
does
was
some
good.
good
This was entertaining.
Yeah.
And I put in my notes here. Is that like pretty much? Is that as hardcore as they get now? Is that pretty much a hardcore match, WWE style at this
Yeah.
point?
Yeah, the ladder matches usually are the most
About as hardcore as they
Yeah,
get.
there's no going
Is
to
that
the
Shane
VIP
O'Mac?
section.
Is that like his whole? Yeah, there's no big lots anymore.
no big live VIP section?
Is Shane O'Mac? Because every time I've seen him now, he's always in some kind of like no rules. Because the last time was with him and the Miz, and they were no rules there. Is that his
Yeah.
whole shtick?
His whole thing is like sacrificing his body.
Yeah.
Doing some sort of big spot.
Any
that-
kind of big match, he's got to jump off something.
Yeah.
that's crazy.
that's like his thing. So
It
that
was entertaining. That was entertaining. They broke a couple like 10-foot tall ladders and stuff. It
probably
was
the
good.
best match of the night. Probably.
Yeah, he was doing some stuff that I was like, "There's no way this old asshole's gonna make it." When he jumped from one turnbuckle across to
Yeah,
bopped, I was like, "Wow,
He's been doing that for years. Yeah,
That's impressive."
and then outside the ring onto the announce table, he's been
Yeah,
doing that.
that's good.
Part of the match of the night, they did show a lot of guys in the crowd, Foley and Angle, and then of course Flair and Hogan were in the crowd.
And again, to your point,
Someone
when
cut
Flair
them a
and Hogan was
$25
there-
check.
When Flair and Hogan was there was nothing. They
Right.
were odd. It was a weird exchange.
came
Like he
back
was
from
walking
commercial.
in or something.
Yeah.
Music was playing when they came back from commercial. They realized it didn't pop the way they wanted it to.
Oh,
So
shit,
they're
we gotta
yeah,
show-
let's just put them in there.
So next was a weird. It wasn't really announced beforehand. An 8-man tag that just showed up out of nowhere. It was basically Braun Strowman and 7 bums. I mean, AJ Styles was mixed in there.
I put in here in my notes. I was like, just needed to bring in names for
Get
the
people
Fox
on the show.
debut. It's
Yeah,
what it looked like.
yeah,
They
it
just
was-
literally just were like, "Hey, you get out there."
And they also set up Strowman versus Tyson. Now, Bill, you're the boxing fan. Who is Tyson Fury?
All right, so Tyson Fury, I don't know,
C-3PO.
about 4 or 5 years ago, he beat. He's a British. He's a gypsy. He's from a family of gypsies. But yeah, so he beat.
serious?
Vladimir Klitschko was like the heavyweight champion for almost 10 years and beat everybody. He beat
This gypsy hair.
well, dude, I'm telling you, he calls him the Gypsy King.
Stop talking gypsies right now.
So,
Fucking gypsy.
Who
he
hated him?
beats
Borat?
Klitschko.
Did Borat hate
He's
Jim?
born for WWE. He's a gypsy king.
so he beats Klitschko and then proceeds to like
Start with a gypsy.
get depressed and blow up to like 400 pounds and didn't wrestle didn't fight for a couple of years. And then he had that fight with, he had a fight about a year ago with Deontay Wilder where a lot of people thought he won the fight, but Wilder, like, he's the guy that got like basically knocked the fuck out by
So he's a
Wilder, but
7-foot
then did, like,
gypsy.
but no, but
biggest goddamn
you remember
gypsy.
that fight where the guy got knocked down? He did like the Undertaker sit up, and it
Yeah,
looked like he was dead.
yeah.
Yeah, that was that guy. So he's been fighting. He's been billed as like the lineal champion because he hasn't actually lost that title in the ring that he beat that he won from Klitschko.
What is he? 7 foot tall? He's just as tall.
He's
as
like
He was a
six,
large
I think
man,
he's like
yeah.
6'9".
Yeah. So they kind of set up Strowman and him. They were John, and then the guy jumped the rail. So that means at WrestleMania, Strowman gets to lose to the Gypsy.
Look at Gypsy.
Yeah, that's what they do. So who else did that? Oh,
Big
Big Show did that to Mayweather. At least this boxer's big. So Strowman's a joke now. He's the modern day Big Show. He's just going to lose to everybody, and he's never going to hold a title, and he's useless. I really hate the fact that how they're treating him, but
I know
he probably doesn't care. He's got a big bank account, and who really gives a shit, right?
They even flip him the way they used to flip Big Show back and forth, heel to face, heel to face.
Yeah, he's modern day Big Show.
You guys always say that you guys get so bummed about the way they handle him.
Yeah,
that's
it's
always
terrible.
your thing.
He loses all the time. Well, he won last the 8-man tag, but who cares? And then, like I said, WrestleMania, he'll fight the Gypsy, and the Gypsy will knock him out.
God damn, you watch them gypsies.
No.
You get them gypsy
I don't know how they're
tears.
going to do that because he's got a couple of fights that are already kind of scheduled that go into that time frame.
I was
Well-
wondering if it's going to be a Survivor Series thing instead. That's kind of what I
Yeah,
was thinking.
it'll be a pay-per-view. They'll bring him out, and it'll be this bad fixed boxing fight. And
Don't trust gypsies.
Yeah, I'm hoping this was just like a one-time promotional thing that they're going to let go.
no, they're gonna bring it back, and Strowman's gonna job to him because why not? All right, so then after that, they go to Roman Reigns versus Eric Rowan, and this match was just kind of it was a lumberjack match, old school, with all the wrestlers around the outside. Reigns wins with Bryan's help.
I put in my notes. Didn't the Roman Reigns guy just have cancer?
Yeah.
like less than a year ago or whatever.
Yeah.
Jesus,
It
he
recessed or
looks
whatever
pretty
they
good.
call it.
Yeah, that's amazing.
A lot of people are believing it was fake. That he never had cancer. They kind of put it out there to get the crowd on his side. 'cause
If
they
that's the
wouldn't cheer.
case, that is some of the darkest shit I've ever heard in my life. Just so we're on the same page.
No one knows because he also shot the movie. He was in Hobbs and Shaw. Why he
yeah.
had cancer. That was they filmed that while. So he's good enough to shoot a movie, and he had his hair. He didn't lose it. So a lot of people feel that they kind of made
That
that
would be
storyline.
some of the most unbelievable shit if they faked cancer.
Would you put it past Vince McMahon?
Yeah, he's pretty crazy.
I didn't like this match. I thought it was whatever.
I didn't understand the rules. They didn't explain. Is that a comment?
Lumberjack match usually no disqualification. If you get thrown out the ring, all the wrestlers
They chuck
grab
you back
chuck
in.
back
Yeah, okay.
They've been doing those for a year. Another way to get everyone's face
Get
on
people
TV.
out there, yep.
But it was an uneventful match. Is Eric Rowan really a main event kind of guy? I don't know. Your thoughts, Dave?
No, I like Daniel Bryan a lot. I'm glad that he's in kind of getting away from the Eric Rowan stuff. It's
Is that the
weird.
guy who sat at the
Something-
announce table?
Yeah,
Little guy
Okay,
at the beard.
yeah. Roman, I don't know. It's just weird. This whole storyline's been weird. So I'm hoping this is the blow off. It's over because I'm ready for something else for Daniel Bryan for sure.
Yeah. Roman Reigns needs a heel turn. Something. He's terrible.
He needs to get in, but they
wants-
can't squander all that cancer love they just got.
Yeah, that's
There
true.
was some news this week that he's been talking about wanting The Rock, like wanting a Rock match. So I don't know.
I got
They're,
news
they're
for him.
related
They're related. So
somehow. I don't know how.
He don't want that kind of like. There's too much love for The Rock. He's crazy if he goes out.
Bill, any thoughts on Roman Reigns versus Eric Rowan?
Okay, one carryover from my '80s love that they could have kept was a lumberjack match. I can't believe they still do those. Kind of pointless. I'm hopeful that this tag match that they're having in Hell in a Cell will just be it. Also,
Yeah.
okay. I went off screen. I thought maybe I
Trying to
lost it.
help him because he's
Yeah.
digital.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, no. I hopefully they'll just this tag match. That'll be the end of it. If they really should just have Rowan and Harper go back to the Bludgeon Brothers and be done with it. These guys have. First of all, there should be no business for either one of them to ever open their mouth. Just because the guy can speak in complete sentences doesn't mean he should have a mic in front of his mouth. Let Reigns and Bryan do something that people actually want to see.
yeah.
Yeah. So now the big main event happens. It's Kofi Kingston versus Brock Lesnar. And I got to admit, I get a kick out of when they do this.
Well, they built it up really well. They
Yeah.
did a good job of like
5-second match. Spoiler alerts for anyone who hasn't watched SmackDown yet. Lesnar destroys Kofi Kingston in one move in 5 seconds. They do this every once in a while. He'll come out like when he pissed on Cena, or every once in a while they'll just give him a really fast match. Well, I know why they did it. They wanted to save time for doughy Cain Velasquez to come down. So the big reveal, UFC fame Cain, how you say it?
Cain Velasquez is
And
his name.
if anyone follows UFC, he did he messed up Lesnar pretty bad in a fight.
Yeah.
And if you
We
didn't know
watched
that,
if you remember.
yeah, and if you didn't know that going
a lot
in,
has happened since then.
yeah, and if you didn't know that going in, you would swear to God this guy wasn't got
Yeah.
destroyed by Lesnar.
His look is not.
Yeah, they should have left the
He
shirt
also
on
had a
him.
huge knee brace.
And gray pants, and another one. Him and Cesaro bought the
Why-
same pants at the
why
same
couldn't-
place.
Yeah, the giant knee brace over the pants. It's
Yeah.
like, okay. Yeah.
I just don't like leave his shirt on.
Yeah.
Like that's
But he needed the
I
brown
know.
pride tattoo, so
know.
you knew the Mexican angle.
Put it in a wife
yeah,
beater.
that's the only. Yeah, that's the way they had to connect it back. Oh, that's why Monday night happened, and that's why whatever. But
Yeah. Yeah, but I mean, Rey Mysterio was standing next to him, so it kind of
Yeah.
made sense why he could have left the show. So that was the big reveal. There was a UFC. So you had a gypsy boxer and a former UFC fighter
Fucking gypsy.
looking a little out of shape come down. The show was a pay-per-view level event. It seemed like, anyways. The surprise is, there was no Undertaker. There was a big rumor he was going to show up. Rock did appear. Goldberg, I think, was in the crowd. They showed
yeah,
him.
they did.
He
show
was.
Yeah, so
yeah,
he,
they showed
but he-
his reaction.
yeah, he didn't do anything. I thought it was a good show. If I had to agree, I'd probably give it I'll give it a 7, but I know they're not going to keep this up because it was only for the debut, right? And so, Dave, what did you think, and what's your rating?
Yeah, I thought it was better than Raw, so I'd probably say a 6.5 or 7. It wasn't as good as NXT, I didn't think, but I don't know. I was kind of disappointed in the Cain Velasquez was the big angle at the end. I was hoping for something a little different, but I guess I don't know. Do you guys think that's a major get?
Maybe he's gonna fight for the title in WWE though.
I don't.
Cain Velasquez?
Yeah. Are they gonna make him a wrestler, or is he just?
They're going to play up the angle that Brock's going to be afraid of him, is how I kind of
Yeah.
took it.
Yeah.
Is that a big get? Is he still like UFC relevant?
I would say he would be,
Yeah.
yeah. But I don't know. The problem is with all this MMA mixing around, it doesn't guarantee that they're going to fit in with the mold that is
Right.
WWE. Like, that's not a guarantee ever. And that's kind of my whole take on it. I don't know. Because they can come off kind of stiff. For every Conor McGregor, there's 50 other fighters who just know how to fight. I don't know if it guarantees, good. I think that, and this is my opinion of wrestling as it currently stands for me. One of the things that they definitely underemphasize is the ability to be like a personality.
And Bill told you why, because they want it all.
Yeah, because they want to control the message. I get what it is, but without that ability, it's always going to fall flat. And I think that they just assume because you could do MMA that you can immediately translate. It's just, I don't know. Yeah, it was weird.
So, what do you give the rating for SmackDown that you watched?
I think the Rock stuff was amazing. So I would give that a solid 6 or a 7, just based on whatever. But the problem's going to be everyone's
week.
sitting in this room. It's going to fall off a cliff.
Yeah.
Holy shit!
There's
You
no way
can't
they
bring
keep it
that
up.
kind of entertainment every week. And I don't know.
Bill, your final rating and thought?
I can't give it any higher than a 6, and it started out really well, but then the last 2 matches were just, they did 2 things in that main event that just confused the living shit out of me. First off, you've just spent the last 7-8 months, damn near a year, building up Kofi Kingston, and you basically just destroyed any credibility you had in that match. He gets beaten less than 10 seconds.
I loved it.
Nice to see
I think it was
Kofi
fantastic
back
because
to the
Kofi
mid-card
Kingston
you
looking
go.
away like a $120. I mean, what are you
Yeah.
going to
But
do?
they could have, but they have taken every other star that's his size, his whatever, and they've had him. They had Daniel Bryan, which is every bit as unbelievable in a real fight with Lesnar as Kingston, and the same thing with AJ Styles, and had him come, drive him to the brink of losing the match. He comes out there, gets caught one move, it's over. His run of being relevant at all just died completely. He might as well he'll be lucky to even get in the rotation with New Day going forward. He's screwed. And then the Cain Velasquez thing, okay, great. So you're going to pull out something about him knocking him out. How many years ago was that now? 5, 6, 7?
But if you pose someone to be unstoppable and you bring in someone that
great.
stopped him,
And you drag out a guy who in the MMA world, and I don't know if he's been relevant in the last few years, and if
He has
haven't
been.
all those top guys kind of
lost,
been
though.
brought down to size because they're all getting older, and you saw a guy that looked like he had a hard time walking up the steps with that big robo knee over his pants. He did the most stiff-looking, unrealistic double leg I've ever seen, and kind of like he punched like a professional wrestler. Like he didn't know how to throw a punch, which you'd think he would because, you know, he was like a legit striker in freaking MMA. Are they really going to put those two in a match? You're going to put Cain Velasquez in a wrestling match against Brock Lesnar and have it what? Be like a short, weird shoot fest? I mean, what do you do with that? I mean, other than, okay, you've created the, oh my God, the beast actually shows fear, and then what now? Is there going to be a payoff to this? I mean, that's... put it this way, I'm glad I wouldn't... I don't even know that I'd want to watch the match. I certainly wouldn't pay for it.
But what do you do with Brock Lesnar? That's the problem. Like, at the end of the day...
Well, you had him job twice to Seth Rollins.
Yeah, that's true.
You know, I mean, there are plenty of people that they have, and I mean, if you can justify Seth Rollins beating him twice, and you can justify at least 5 to 10 other guys in WWE beating him in a match.
How about Braun Strowman? Oh, wait.
Braun Strowman.
He's going to be wrestling a gypsy.
You could justify Braun Strowman.
He's the gypsy.
You could probably justify guys like...
Yeah.
You just died.
Well, I thought the direction that everything was going to be going in was setting up like a Bray Wyatt.
I don't know what's going on.
Like a Bray Wyatt Lesnar match at Survivor
Series.
Series.
You die.
He's there. He's gone.
Yeah.
I would have been... This would have been better if they had brought out frickin' what the hell's his name? Shit. I can't remember his name now.
He's that good.
The guy that just lost the heavyweight title in UFC.
Okay.
The UFC guy that just
lost?
No,
you know what I'm talking about. He lost the title and...
With his balls are hot?
Cormier.
Oh no, he's not done. He's not done fighting though. He's gonna get Stipe 2 or
I'm
Stipe
saying
3.
that would have been to me more believable because I think there's been some talk he's actually worked a little bit on pro wrestling on the side.
He's a true wrestler. He's coaching a wrestling team.
Yeah.
So ratings are 6 to 7. The problem is this is their peak, and we all know it's going to go down from here. Next Friday SmackDown is not going to be nowhere near as good as this Friday SmackDown.
Yeah. But is there any question this is the A show now, though?
Yeah, 3.9 million viewers. They better make it.
Well, I think you have to make it the A show based on one's on Fox or network television, one's on third tier USA. You know what I mean? Like you have no choice as a company but to put all your eggs in that basket, just based on what channel it airs on.
Yeah. So tonight, because we watched SmackDown, we all know there's a big pay-per-view coming.
Oh my God, they pimped the shit out of it.
In case you guys didn't catch it. So we're going to do a quick preview. We're going to go over the matches. You guys tell me who's going to win, and we'll go from there. So we'll start at the bottom. The ones that nobody cares about.
Are these all... Well, let me ask the question again to the uninitiated. Is this all cage matches?
No. It used to be, but...
I'm like, Hell in the Cell. I figured it was all cage matches.
It's only a couple of them are.
It's like a bigger cage, too. It's a cage over so they can get in and out of the ring, too.
Yeah.
Okay.
But they can't.
It's the same thing that Mick Foley got thrown off all those years ago and stuff like that.
That's giant cage.
Is this an annual event?
Yes.
This is.
Yeah.
A couple of them end up in the cage. I think I know the women's match is, and I'm not
Rollins
sure.
and Bray Wyatt, I think, is too.
Yeah. So the two main events will be. So it's going to probably start with the light cruiserweight that nobody cares about. Drew Gulak versus Lio Rush.
What the fuck is this?
This is probably over already.
Drew Gulak?
Drew Gulak's the title.
How do you open the show with Drew Gulak? What is a Drew Gulak? Is that a character from Shrek? What is that?
I don't know what that
What
is.
the hell is a Drew Gulak?
All I know is he'll probably win. I'm going with Drew Gulak at the
What the
preview.
fuck is Drew Gulak?
He's got a beard. I know that much. Dave, what do you think?
I have no idea what the storyline is, but I know Lio Rush kind of went down, got separated from Bobby Lashley to do something, so maybe this is going to be his time. So I'll pick Leo.
Charles?
I'm going to say Drew Gulak because I was a huge fan of him on Shrek.
And Bill, what do you like?
Yeah, I don't because I didn't see the pre-show. I have have Hell in a Cell running here on the side, so I've been watching it since the main show started. They can't give Lio Rush the time because he got pulled off from Bobby Lashley because he was trying to big time and was getting upset about expenses and wanting to do more than. And they kicked him off the show.
I forgot about that.
So I think he's gotten like a second chance, but he was basically almost kicked out of the company for a while.
So you like Drew?
I'll say Gulak, yeah.
Gulak. 3 Gulaks, 1 Lio Rush. All right, so now everyone's boys back. Shinsuke Nakamura versus Ali for the Intercontinental title. On the record, I hate Ali even more than I hate Shinsuke, so I'm going to go with Shinsuke Nakamura over Ali. Dave?
I think Shinsuke will probably keep it here just because he's got the Sami Zayn thing going on right now.
Yeah.
So it's an unfair fight against Ali.
The only thing Ali does is cool. He comes down dressed like a Mortal Kombat character.
Yeah, he
Other than
does,
that-
which is cool.
other than that,
Sub-Zero.
I can't stand the guy.
Yeah. I don't know. He's fine. I don't think they're going to give it to him yet. I think they will, but not yet.
And Charles?
Give me anyone other than that greasy Asian guy. Asian guy is terrible. Give me the Ali guy.
Ali for Charles and Bill?
So I actually probably I think I probably like Ali more than probably anybody else here. He actually I shared a plane with him on the way back from WrestleMania.
Dude,
we had
drop
an
that
early
name.
flight. Well, no, we had an early flight coming back. From,
okay.
Well, I'm sorry, Abby. We were going back to Chicago. Had an early flight, and he was on the flight. Him and another guy that I just didn't recognize,
Jesus.
but and this was like we were sitting there at the airport at like 6:30 in the morning, and people were coming up to him left and right, and wanting photo ops and stuff. And he was like the most polite, professional type individual I've ever seen in that situation. I would have been like, man, go to hell at 6:30 in the morning. He stopped and he took every picture.
So you're going with Ali?
He was really good guy. I don't think they're gonna. One of these days they're gonna give him a title. I don't
You
think it's gonna be-
babysit kids? What the fuck?
Maybe he's over there
I was
watching
impressed with
everything
the way
he
the guy
did.
carried
This
himself.
is 400-pound dude just watching him at 6:30 in the morning. Just,
You could probably kill Ali, right? All right. Anyways, Bill
he
and
had a
Ali-
croissant on the
I think
plane.
Nakamura wins.
It was amazing.
Bill Stalker story.
Dude, he drank some coffee, some orange juice. It was amazing.
Okay, so the SmackDown tag titles are on the line. The Revival versus New Day. I think they're going to make up for Kofi getting pissed on in 5 seconds. I think the New Day wins this for the title. Dave, what are your thoughts?
I don't. I don't care.
He's way into
The
this one,
Revival, maybe.
Who did you share a plane with out of this picture?
Well, one time when I was in 3rd grade, my parents took me to meet the big boss man. So I'll go with him.
Charles, what do you like?
Dude, I don't know shit about this. The New Day, I guess. I don't know.
Yeah. And Bill, who do you like?
Remind me never to tell any story like that again in my entire life.
Asshole.
And for the record, this was in the terminal. It wasn't on the plane when it was happening. He happened to be sitting like in the row in front of me. Sitting waiting for
Who do you want in the tag match?
Anyway, I guess I don't really care. I'll go New Day.
Just stalking a wrestler.
New Day. New Day for BB. All right. Next, we got the Hugger Bailey versus Charlotte Flair for the SmackDown title. I think the new SmackDown show, they want Charlotte to be the champion to run it. I'm going to go with Charlotte. Dave?
I think they keep it with Bailey. I think Sasha will probably get involved in this too, and maybe Becky will come down. It'll be a big brawl or something. I
Double
expect
DQ
Bailey
or
to
something.
get disqualified. Yeah.
And Charles?
Bailey's the happy chick.
Yeah.
Oh, that was a
Yeah, but she's a bad
stupidest
guy, happy
shtick
chick.
I've ever seen
Bad
in
guy,
my
happy
life.
chick.
Give me the chick who's flat as a board but says those rubber titties. Give me Charlotte Flair.
And Bill, who do you like?
They've gone too long without Flair as a champion, and with it being the SmackDown show, she's going to have I think she's going to win the title.
Were you ever on a train with Charlotte?
BB
No,
ran a
I've
train.
had no live experience with Charlotte Flair, but
Roman Reigns and Daniel Bryan are tagging up against Eric Rowan and Luke Harper. Roman Reigns and Daniel Bryan, too big a names to lose here. So
I don't even
Roman
know who
Reigns,
I know the two. I don't even know who the second group is.
it's the guy he wrestled on SmackDown with the big orange beard,
okay,
bald
yeah,
head. Reigns and Bryan are going to win this. Dave?
Yeah, they need to win this, and this needs to be over with.
Luke Harper sounds like a country star, so I'm going to go.
does,
I'm going to go with Roman Reigns and Daniel Bryan.
And Bill?
this match is actually going on right now. But yeah, I would say, well, hold on. Bryan kicked out. I'm going to go with Reigns and Bryan.
And then we're getting to the title matches of Becky Lynch versus Sasha Banks. They're really pushing Becky, so I'm going to go with Becky Lynch. And Dave?
Yeah, I think Becky's money right now. I don't think they're gonna get rid of it. Yeah.
Oh, dude, The Rock was all but slobbing her. I mean, there's no way you go against that. So the man is going to win. I'm telling you.
And she's on the cover of the new video.
Dude,
game.
it's crazy. They were just putting her on a pedestal.
So, and Bill?
this match opened the show, so it's already happened. It was actually about a half-hour match. Ended up with Sasha going for some kind of flip onto a bunch of chairs and missed. And then Becky put her on the disarmer and she tapped out. So Becky did win the match.
Tapping out again. Yeah, it's so weird. What is the disarmer?
They had that show on at 7:30?
It's like
That's the armbar. It started
but
at 7 Eastern.
God, they had that match on early. And then finally, Rollins versus Bray Wyatt for the title. This is the Fiend guy. They've been promoting this guy for 6 months. They got to let him win at this point. I'm going to go with Bray Wyatt, but it would not surprise me if he lost. Dave?
I was convinced he was going to win the championship tonight, and then it was going to be him and Brock next month. But now with the Cain Velasquez stuff, I don't know what that means for this, so that makes it so I'm not really sure. But I'm thinking it's time for the Fiend to be a champion.
Oh, give me Rollins, because that guy in that terrible skit. Oh, hell no. Dave is 100% wrong on that, dude. Give me Rollins all day.
And Bill?
I've got a unique response for this. They can't have they've built Wyatt 2 up, so there's no way he gets beat legit. I think this turns out to be some crazy thing that no one sees coming, and there's a no finish. I'm guessing like somebody comes down to the ring and just jumps both of them, and it goes haywire, and they don't get I don't think anyone wins this match.
No one wins the match.
You think it's like a disqualification thing?
Well, there's no disqualification with the Hell in a Cell, but it'd be one of those things like, remember when
the power goes out or something? Like what is
No,
gonna
I think
happen?
it'd be something that someone's going to come down and just beat the crap out of everybody, and they won't be able to finish the match.
All
so
right.
they'll find some way for Wyatt to stay strong but not win the title.
That sounds about familiar. That's what he did his whole career last time. I'm with Dave. I like Bray Wyatt.
That skit is terrible.
Yeah, the skit's terrible.
Dave, you're 100% wrong.
I liked it better when he was the cult leader before this, but they always make this guy lose. I don't know why they hate this guy. They hype him up and make him lose. So there you go, a little preview. Bill can probably give us the actual results in a minute, but I just want to thank everybody for coming. That was a lot of wrestling.
That was an insane amount of wrestling.
And Bill stalks people at the airport. And he knows
Deep
about,
cuts Tyler for our
he knows about the Gypsy King. Borat does not like gypsies. So I'd like to thank our special guest Dave and Bill, of course, thank him, and then Charles, of course, even though you had to sit through 2 hours.
It was fun. Just BB's randomness made it worthwhile for me.
So you can catch us on Apple iTunes or Google Play, and next week we'll be back to normal,
usually scheduled program.
Streaming and movies. We'll have a look at the Joker and some new movies and games coming out. All that. So until next time, this is Steve.
Charles.
Catch you later.